from the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
Hi guys, this is Zaya and welcome to Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers review the best new gaming laptops. Gamers are an impatient bunch, and I've got a laptop just for you. Let's look at the top 3 reasons why the Acer Predator Helios 300 is perfect for the impatient gamer. Number 1. Its 11th Gen Intel Core i7 processor, which brings out the potential of the GPU's high-speed GDDR6 memory to ensure faster experience with higher frame rates and lower latency. Gamers hate long load times. That's why our second reason is the Helios 300's 2TB PCIe SSD. The SSD operates at PCIe Gen 4 speeds, giving you incredible read-write speeds for a faster response time. If all this wasn't enough, check out reason number 3. The 5th Gen Aeroblade 3D technology plus Vortex Flow, which lets you say goodbye to heating issues. Shout out to the Predator Sense dashboard, which lets you monitor your system, overclock, and customize everything instantly from one place. I think it's clear that this system is geared for super fast results. Get your Acer Helios 300 powered by 11th Gen Intel Core processor now.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the LG Ultragear presents Tec Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial Apparel, Partner 656, and of course our gaming partner, Intel. We are back with another few set of matches, and for today, we've got a couple of interesting teams going against each other. That is Team Optimistic Esports versus True Rippers. Now, this is going to be a very, very interesting matchup because this is a battle for the spot in the playoffs, for True Rippers especially, because currently they are in the 5th, 6th position of the table. But hey, Optimistic Esports, they're looking a lot better, and we will have a look at that once we do go ahead further and have a look at the group stages. But Crips, this is going to be a battle towards the end, towards the climax of the group stages. And how important is this match?
I don't really think I need to say how important this is, but I want to tell you one thing. If you guys want to get to the #1 spot of any game you play, of any venture that you get into, make sure that you get yourself some amazing products from Intel because they deliver the best overall value with the best gaming experience.
Yeah, and don't forget the hashtag Game with Intel to go ahead with that and make sure that your upgrade counts for the best. Now, with what we've got at hand, let's go to the MVP standings to have a look at the players who might just be on top over there. Yep, we've got Paradox sitting pretty on that third position, playing after quite a while, I must say, in the TC Gauntlet. He has secured himself a very healthy positioning early on in the group stages itself, and he's managed to stay here with his ACS and stats intact. And now he gets a chance to upload and put on more kills onto his stats and hopefully get his team another victory as well to move ahead to the playoffs. Now, considering what we know about True Rippers, we know how they play, we know how Optimistic Esports have had a pretty decent journey so far. We will go to the group standings to find out how exactly it has turned out for them in just about a bit. But you know, I'm not quite sure. I think this is True Rippers' sixth match, and Optimistic, I think this is their final match. I think we'll get to know that as soon as we do go to the group standings, which is going to come up right now. And there it is. Yep, this is the last match for Optimistic Esports, a way for them to settle into that top four positioning. And True Rippers are actually in the red zone. Now, this
Oh
is
no.
really uncommon of them, given their performances in the first three seasons.
Yeah, I really think True Rippers have what it takes to be in the top four. They still have quite a lot of matches yet to go. Today is going to be the fifth one. They will have two more after that. Hopefully, that should be enough to help them get into the top four, maybe get close to FS Esports. But yeah, it is a bit unorthodox to see True Rippers down there at the seventh place.
Yep.
Optimistic Esports, though, I'm pretty proud of them. They've won 3 games so far, won another map on top of it, which gets them to 7 points. But this being their last map, the max that they can go to is 9 points in the group stage.
Yep.
Now, that should be enough under normal circumstances to help them get through the playoffs. But then you consider there's teams like True Rippers left who have 3 whole matches remaining. And if they win all of them, then they have a potential to earn 6 points and thereby overtake Optimistic Esports. But it all starts here. It all starts with this match first.
Yeah, it most certainly does. I think that Optimistic Esports need to be on their best today if they want to secure a spot in the playoffs, which I believe that they're good for, but True Rippers are not a team to be taken lightly. They have been a semi-finalist. They have almost gone to the finals. They've placed third in the previous season as well. So True Rippers, they are going to be good to be a very worthy opponent for Optimistic Esports, who, by the way, are coming up on our screens right now. Let's take a look at Optimistic Esports. These are players that I'm pretty sure that we've had a look at pretty distinctively throughout the entire series now. The 6 matches that they've played, 3 of them were pretty convincing victories, but the other 3 seemed like they were almost giving up at points. You know, some very, very minute mistakes that shouldn't be given out by them. Optimistic Esports are kind of on a, the sine graph of a wave which is going up and down after each match. So is it going to be up today or is it going to be down? What do you think, Rips?
I think it's going to be a flat line. And by that, I don't mean that they're dying. That's not the kind of flat line I'm referring to. My point is, I think they can be consistent today. Most of the matches are done. They are somewhat safe. Mentally, they don't have anything to worry about. Even if they just get like one map today, I think they should be able to sustain themselves in the group going forward. So Optimistic Esports on paper don't have anything to worry about. And when a man has his mental peace at stake, there's not much that he's willing to risk. And I don't think Optimistic are going to play a very risky playstyle today. They'll most likely be disciplined. They'll most likely be very measured and methodical. But yeah, there has to be some method to the madness. And the person that brings over the madness is going to be the person who's on the player spotlight powered by Crucial.
Yep, and I think that has to be YB God. Of course, it has to be YB God. He is the initiator for the team, although his stats don't really give out as much in terms of kills. Look at this man's assist. He's got 94 assists overall. That kind of gives a lot more to his gameplay than the kills do because he is a Sova. He plays more on information, plays more on initiating attacks, on helping out his duelists perform better. Sova played by this man, and not just Sova. I've seen him play the Sky. He's even sometimes taken up the Killjoy role if need be, and he's done a pretty great job of being the backbone support of his team and allowing his teammates to rely upon him to give the right information and to initiate attacks when they are especially looking more dangerous, thanks to IonQ, who doubles up with him for most of the times. And yeah, I think Optimistic Esports are going to be doing a fair bit well today, thanks to him, if he is on his best foot. But they're going up against a team which has not performed for a bit in the TC Gauntlet, but that doesn't discredit them from anything at all. True Rippers, well, there's not much to say about them. A team that started off together just about a year and a half ago. Right now, they're standing at the very door of Tier 1. They've beaten some of the top teams out there, and they look like they could beat Optimistic Esports today as well.
I think they definitely have what it takes to beat Optimistic Esports. I mean, their firepower is unmatched. Paradox might be on just the third position in the MVP standings, but he has what it takes to get up at the very top. Remember that last season, Paradox was the one who was leading with the highest kills, even though he didn't have the highest number of MVPs. That's okay. He doesn't need to be the MVP of the team. And that's the best part about True Rippers. They're not always getting carried by one person or one name who's popping up every time. Everyone lifts the weight equally, and that's what differentiates True Rippers from a lot of other teams. We have noticed in the Gauntlet how there are several teams who will try to set up one or two of their players for success, and everyone else just plays around them. Yeah, True Rippers don't do that. Everyone else lifts the weight equally, and True Rippers are the kind of team that can play in many different play styles. If they want to clump up together and hit a site with brute force, execute it throughout and throughout, they might be able to do that as well. If they want to play split and go for defaults, they are good at that too. And while Paradox doesn't always take the spotlight, he more often than not initiates the battle with all his teammates there to trade him out. And that's exactly why I think he's one of the people who everyone should be looking at. But who's the player in spotlight today? Who's the crucial player? Let's take a look.
Well, it has to be Master, because this man is probably the one player that you can depend upon clutches to come out of, and he is the backbone of the team. And I think both the backbones of the teams are going to be in the spotlight today. And Master giving out his stats as well, looking pretty decent. A healthy KD ratio in the positive range, 147 kills as a Killjoy main, a Cypher main, whatever. He even plays the controller role if need be, even a secondary duelist at times I've seen him play. And Master's just pretty damn good at what he does best, and that is to give the team that kind of a versatile role that they would require from one particular player. And I think that this is going to be an interesting battle between the two. Why we got in Master. Let's see who is going to be shining the brightest today. But for the moment, ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have got between the teams for you. Let's have a look at what is going to be the battleground, though, because that's what I'm more excited about. Who has chosen which map in this best of three, and what we will be ending up with as a decider. And it is going to be Haven picked up by True Rippers. We've got Split by Optimistic Esports. And to finish it off with Ground Zero and Ascent.
I mean, I'm not at all surprised that we have Haven first. I'm pretty sure that Optimistic would have banned Fracture right off the bat, because everyone knows that True Rippers are comfortable on Fracture. You want to get that out of the picture as quickly as possible. True Rippers must have banned Breeze or some other big map. Maybe even Icebox. I'm not really sure what they banned, but them picking up Haven is a good thing. We've seen in the past how these guys are able to split on defaults on their attacking side. They almost always send Paradox towards the middle of the map, and his teammates are then assaulting towards the extremities. Paradox, while he was supposed to be the entry fragger, that then turns into the lurker. So he switches between these roles almost flawlessly. And they play in a very fluid fashion, which makes Haven a very conducive map for True Ripper's penetrative playstyle. Now we go to Split and Ascent. Over there, I think it's not going to be very easy for True Rippers. Optimistic Esports can give them a good run for their money. Keep in mind that obviously the brain game potential in Haven is a lot higher than in Split and Ascent. So on those maps, you'll most likely just have to rely on trading and good timings and good rotations. In Haven, all sorts of lurk plays and all sorts of brain games can come into play.
Yeah, I think that, on Haven, I think the True Rippers have got a good setup. I think that Paradox is going to be, that turning point in terms of aggressive factors. And the one player that we do need to watch out for, that I believe is going to throw out a little bit more of a confused state for the opponents, is going to be Relic, who is going to be holding down the team from the back, probably playing, whatever they feel comfortable right now, because the players of True Rippers, most of them are kind of flexible with the way that they move around their roles. And I think that that's going to be completely onto them as to what they see Haven to be today. And I think that even the Paradox might not play the Jet, which he actually is focusing on chamber quite a bit these days. The last time I saw him, and they're giving the jet role to be moved around to one tap god maybe sometimes, and if anybody else is feeling up to it. So let's see how this team functions on Haven, what they're going to be playing, because I would expect to see a chamber there, as we are going into Haven in just about a couple of seconds, ladies and gentlemen. The agent selection screen should be coming up as we have got Haven underway.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. True Rippers are going to be starting on the defensive side of Haven. We're going to be heading into agent selection now and see what these guys pick up. Universe over here has been pretty excited about the chamber pick, but will they go for
Never
it?
mind.
True Rippers won't. They're picking up the Cypher instead. Survey was disabled from the competitive queue for a couple of days because of some bug. And now that they've fixed it, Relic can pick it up again. Master has picked up the Breach, so it seems like these guys really just want to go for the hit and run combinations. Paradox going for an Omen.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
sure.
one of
I
those
mean,
very
yeah,
old days. I remember this Paradox playing the Omen.
I mean, sure. Getting rid of the Astra in your composition is one thing. Picking up an Omen is another, which makes sense because of the whole changes and the meta shift and the new update. But
Yeah,
putting Paradox on Omen, now that's I didn't expect that.
I didn't expect that. I thought he's going to be picking up the role of the chamber, and they're going to try and play a double operator setup if need be. And Relic could, switch on to the controller role, or anybody else who wants to pick it up, maybe the baby master, and Relic could shift it up between them. But it looks like we're not going to be seeing that. A Breach is in action here, and it looks like it could be on the other side as well. While Ion has locked in the chamber, OE are yet to choose. Immutables going. Okay.
A Viper.
On Haven and a Brim and a Breach. Oh, this
Well,
is a very, very interesting lineup from the boys of.
Interesting or weird?
It, I mean, I could say either way. It looks
Okay,
like.
first of all, there's a couple of red flags. I just want to point out. Sorry to cut you off, Universe.
No, go on.
Haven without Sova.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking
Not
at
just
on
without
both
Sova.
sides.
Yeah, for any information gathering character for that matter. At least True Rippers have Sova, right?
Mm-hmm.
Optimistic Esports have no Sova, no Sky either, so no initiator to help you gather information. You have one brute force initiator in the form of Breach. Sure, you can gather up the common angles and hit them with brute force, but two controllers on Haven, that too one of them being a Viper. I have almost never seen a Viper in my life in Haven.
I mean, I have seen, but mostly in my ranked games where
Yeah,
people are
not
like,
in
I'm a Viper
tournaments.
main, I've got lineups, and that's all I care about. Go get the plant and we win the round. That's basically how it plays. I really hope OE are not banking upon that, because having just one agent to play on post plants without a Sova or even a Killjoy is very harmful. But here's one tap god being harmful to his own health, pushing across a Viper wall that he necessarily shouldn't have. And immediately within the first 10 seconds of the round, True Rippers have lost one of their players.
Yeah, early information not going in the
Ooh.
favor of True Rippers, but Paradox brings it back. Relic is making it up even more. He does get traded out, but with this, True Rippers at least know that the spike is towards the C long area, and Paradox will go ahead and confirm the kill on the spike carrier. He hears the sound of it being retrieved, knows that there's Fox in this corner. They spotted Immutable towards A early on, so they should have a good read on this. They should know that A is empty and the attackers will try to go over there, and that's why you can see that Crosshair and Paradox are already moving towards the entrance of A. Meanwhile, Master is still towards the bottom of it, hoping to come in for a backstab. No chamber, which means none of the traps will be activated. Backstab's possible, but Immutable from the front lines holding things well. Crosshair can't go in by himself now. He needs to wait for his fellow Breach.
Yeah, that recon is gonna give a little bit of positioning value. Fox needs to be careful, goes behind the boxes, but Crosshair is there to take care of him. As Immutable is left to... Why is he looking towards his left?
I mean,
He was just staring at the wall.
I guess he was trying to dodge an incoming flash or something. Maybe he was expecting one. That's probably why he
Maybe.
turned away. Although I'm not really sure what was going on in his head. I like the fact that Master was quick enough and all his other teammates were patient enough. It would have been very easy for True Rippers to lose this round if they went in one by one. But they don't, and that's the best part. This time I might see some jet action towards A aggressively once again. Look at the position of Master. He's towards A leg from where he's gonna stun that entire A short corridor, and most likely one tap god will peek on the back point.
They were at C just a few seconds ago. Now they are going towards A. And while the stun has come in and information about two players as well, Immutable barely surviving, taking that off as he wants his Viper split to get activated as soon as possible. One tap god. Oh boy, make that 3 as the Sovereign Marshal sings its tunes. And he's left wanting for more, but Master just takes down Kawaii from the smoke. The spike is dropped, and Immutable's journey towards C is just about a couple of seconds away from death.
Yeah, inevitable death for Immutable. I acknowledge you, Sire. I see your cameras. I wave at them. I'll smile. You won't see any teeth.
Oh, that was a from the minute this lineup had come up itself, we have been concerned about the technicality of how they're going to execute sites without information. How are they even planning to play post plants? Having a Brimstone is one good thing. I think that the Brimstone lineups are good, but you do need to realize that Brimstone's Molotov travels much slower when there's a lineup involved, and it can also be blocked by the players on the other opponent side as well. So, you know, I'm still confused by why exactly OE have chosen to go for this, but right now YB God could be proving us wrong with this swing. Yep, a good stun allows Paradox to get killed. One tap God though will trade back immediately. A heavy seaside execute looking to be in the cards here.
Relic still so potent on the other side of that cyber cage. He used it as a pseudo smoke, hoping to just buy some space so that his teammates can maneuver around and maybe start rotating in. But it gets them all these kills, and even Ion gets detected. Fox doesn't even need to see his enemy. He's gonna get shot right through that smoke. Indeed. And True Rippers, while they walk into a round with just Spectres, they walk out with 3 superior weapons.
Yep. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this, this is the problem with having no Sova on your lineup. They have no vision. There's smokes across in front of them in just one line of sight where they have to move in from that long lobby on C, having no recon to support in terms of positional advantage, having no drone to secure some eyesight, and nobody even coming in from Grudge because even that's covered off. How do you fight a team like this which has got so much defensive value with a Cypher, Sova, as well as a Breach on that side?
Luckily, that's a question trouble. I don't have to answer.
Well, they need to fix. Oh, Paradox, he's been spotted. YB God could spam, but how is Master allowed to move in towards mid like that?
Yeah, they had absolutely nobody looking at that position. Nobody was even present towards the top of mid. They were all just towards glass, looking towards garage. They had one person just maybe holding in case an A-long push comes through, and that same person had to then go ahead and fight towards window, which led to their deaths. True Rippers are having a free reign for now. And it's not even like they needed to try so hard, right? It almost seemed effortless from the side of True Rippers, just walking into mid, murdering all their friends and enemies.
Well, the side of True Rippers have been dominating this first half thanks to their basic utility play, which has allowed them to... Yeah, it's literally... They're not doing anything too much out of the blue. Yeah. They're trying to keep things as simple as possible, and it's working out for them because they know that they don't really need to do anything different because the opponents have kind of made it a very difficult opportunity for themselves to win this map.
Paradox has used both his dark covers, hoping to keep the attackers at bay, hoping that Optimistic Esports will continue holding their defaults and their aggressive endeavors can maybe get them a pick. One tap God didn't really find all that much success in the pistol round when he tried to push that wall, but maybe this time it will be different. Now that they've taken control of A long, they are sure that Optimistic Esports are doing nothing but holding defaults because there's no presence towards C long either, no presence towards Garage. It just stands to reason that Optimistic Esports are all still in base. So now the ball is in their court. True Rippers start to disengage. They're like, yep, there's just a minute left. Optimistic will start hitting now. Let's just hold our angles.
Well, these angles might just be a little too late to be explored because One Tap God is very aware of what's happening around him. He expects this push to come through and maybe just one kill and dash is all he needs right now. Nothing more. And that smoke is actually delaying themselves 30 seconds left. One tap god with one tap god gets another, and that's about it. The round's pretty much done and dusted. Crosshair will finish up things over here as he sprays through the smoke.
Okay, did you see that? How did he not get flashed? It's because the flash got blocked by the Brim ultimate.
Yep, it did.
I mean, I know that these guys, the guys at Riot, said that the Brim ultimate has been changed in a way where you can't see through that stuff now. You won't be able to spot anyone on the minimap like you did before. But I didn't know it would block flashes too.
Oh, it does. It does. It blocks.
Whoa!
Because the flash was turned on towards the inside of the box. Not that was just a small, minor thing that led.
Okay, that's honestly not gonna lie. That's the best way of seeing what the update has done to the Brim ultimate. That's like the most valuable way. And what a lucky way to avoid the flash too. One tap god. Once again getting lucky as Webby walks into the trap through his own teammate's Toxin Cloud. And they're peeking him again. This was a double peek. Should have been his death, but since he's a jet, he can get away with murder.
Man. Have you can notice this by every single move that Crosshair is making. He right now is the most important player for the side of True Rippers because his utility is enough to push these players back. One recon stops them, one owl drone stops them. And of course, Master's just adding on to all of that stuff, giving away his flashes and just bullying them like the big bully breach that he's supposed to be. There's the aftershock. Ion's definitely not surviving this. Number 6 for True Rippers, and nothing on the board so far for Optimistic Esports. Clearly, right now, they are not feeling too optimistic about this map.
You're right. The utility of True Rippers is able to hold them at bay pretty easily. Optimistic Esports are using their own utility as well, but it's just not providing them nearly as much value as they thought they would be getting out of it. I mean, the Viper utility has been more or less irrelevant up until now, and that's surprising because Immutable is the only one getting the frags in the team. Other than that, the flashes coming in from Kawhi are not providing value. He's not able to help set his teammates up for success, and he's not even got a single kill himself. Now Kawhi might be able to do something with the ultimate. He got it. Rolling Thunder available, and IonSQ picked off one aggressor towards towards A shot. So with this man advantage, maybe they can hit a side with the Rolling Thunder, capture their first round, hopefully.
Paradox needs to be careful. They will be able to spot that smoke out.
But it blocks the...
They're not gonna spot it, and he gets 2 free kills. He wants to teleport, maybe go through, but he needs to be careful. There's a player lurking around the corners. And Kawhi is going to take a free kill on the Paradox, but Paradox has done more than enough damage. 2 more players on the side of OE are pretty down low, less than half HP on them. And even though there are ultimates available, True Rippers, all they need to do right now is wait, play for time, allow it to go for a plant because they know that their opponents are weak.
Yeah, that smoke by Paradox, it was mostly responsible for blocking the chamber trademark. That's how he didn't get detected. Now, Relic has his camera in a lovely position which nobody will be able to find out. Pre-firing onto Immutable because his gun barrel was visible already. Kawhi comes around the other side and finally equalizes things, but it's barely equal. They have ultimates, barely any HP on Optimistic Esports. One laser beam and they're dead. And Ion might just walk into it.
Ion, you saw that coming. You shouldn't have walked towards that direction. Now that shock dart is more than enough to take the life of Kawhi. Even before that shock dart was released from the bow of Crosshair, we saw death flashing in the eyes of Kawhi. And there's nothing more that the side of Optimistic Esports are able to do. The one thing that they should actually be aiming at, which they have been, I think, aiming at, but it's not been happening, Crips, is the post-plant situation. Because they've got that Viper, who quite literally is the most potent post-plant agent there is, right?
Yeah.
But they haven't got a plant. Have they got a plant in a single round? I don't think so.
No.
Except for the pistol.
Haven't. No, they haven't. Yeah, except for the pistol, they haven't. They haven't even been able to get into the site. Forget plant.
Exactly.
I mean, you've seen what happens, right? The one round where they thought they had what it takes to go for the plant, they got into the seaside, they got the kill onto Relic. 2v2 situations as good as it can be. That's the best odds that Optimistic have had in a while. And how do True respond to that? They're like, nah, we will just commit one of the 5 ultimates that we have available. And Crosshair uses it to not just delay the plant, basically kill everyone as well. And then you see the amount of utility being dumped at that poor last guy. He was stunned with the fault line, blinded by the flash, and shock dart piercing his body.
Ooh,
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
You
This
threw
is
in
just-
everything but the kitchen sink to get that kill.
This is just getting difficult after difficult after difficult. It's just adding on to the misery. And
Yeah.
look at their buy right now. They are half across for a couple of players with pistols, and 2 players are playing on vandals. Why is this? What is this buy?
Yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I thought that they might be trying to go for something along the lines of a hero vandal, but nah, it just seems like a force buy. Webby most likely will play on his Blade Storm. Jenny and Fox, they can play with the rifles, but Immutable and Ion have nothing to work with. At least Ion has his Tour de Force, so he can be relevant. I mean, the Headhunter is always available. So, yeah, this is most likely just a force, and the only person who's going to have inferior weaponry is Immutable with the Sheriff. And they're just hoping that Immutable doesn't even pick up the fights. They're hoping to keep him alive and get into the site so that he can deploy his Viper's Pit and finally get around, maybe.
Well, the loss bonus is working, so I would expect them to have a buy next round, and that's exactly why I think they've gone for this sort of a buy. But it's still very scrappy, given that even the next round they might have to suffice with half armor, and that's just not the way things are supposed to be working for them. But in a moment like this, where they're desperate for just even a single round, I kind of don't blame them for trying whatever they can.
Yeah, I mean, they have been trying. Things just do not work. And sometimes they're just straight up unlucky. I mean, you remember that round where we discussed how the orbital strike blocked the flash? Come on. Your own teammates are sabotaging your utility. The orbital strike didn't even get a kill. In fact, it put Paradox in a situation where he was in a much better position than he was before. And then poor Kawhi, his flash is getting blocked by it. Like, just so unfortunate. And I've never seen that happen. I haven't even seen that happen in a matchmaking game. Forget a tournament game. So that's how rare it is to see a flash getting blocked by an orbital strike. Oh, I don't think I'm ever gonna forget this.
You want to play? Let's play.
Okay. Very brave teleport by Paradox all the way to the bottom of C long. And Fox was stunned as well. Imagine this getting in a kill. Paradox would have easily walked away with a frag. Drone will spot out Baby God, but that's okay. Even if he gets inside, he's only got a shorty and the Blade Storm to work with. Got the kill on Crosshair, but now that Paradox has gotten a kill towards C long, they can't exactly waltz in and go for the plant. One Tap God is going to have to fight the Jet with just the knives, and the timing is just so bad. Unlucky for him. But look at where we got now. All the way towards the back of B side. He's cleared out so much space for his teammates. But the unfortunate part is the Spike can't join him. There's so much map control available for Optimistic Esports now, but can they capitalize on it? It's just been Baby God and his triple kill who's been responsible for getting all this information and map control. Paradox with a very, very brave teleport. Could have been killed right there, but hey, now he's in a long, his teammates in short. Both of them coming in from the back lines, and they haven't spotted the breach yet. The breach will most likely get into a fight with Baby God, and he gets stunned, displacing him from the position, and here comes the Rolling Thunder. You can't zoom in with the operator. Another Rolling Thunder in response by the opposing breach, and it's Baby God on the verge of an ace. Blade Storm missed, but that's okay. He's up on top, and the shorty for the ace. One final round in the hands of Optimistic Esports, and it takes a mammoth performance from Baby God to pull that off. 5 kills, 1 round, and finally Optimistic Esports are awake. They are alive, and their legs are kicking. They are itching for a scratching, and they might just continue this momentum into the next round as well. They finally have what it takes. But that's the problem right now. You see, True Rippers don't care if they lose a round. They have enough money to continue buying for the rest of the entire half. If Optimistic Esports lose this round, they will lose all the lost bonus that they've built up, and they will be back to eco territory. They cannot afford to lose this round. Otherwise, they'll be in a much worse position than they were before. What, that got so brave? Okay then. I mean, sure, no problem. He's got Master to back him up. Flash and Dash could also be a possibility here, but you don't need to do that when you already got to the bottom of grass. Smoke fades. Now he needs to be aware about 2 more position. No other confrontations by True Rippers yet. They're only playing aggressively towards B and nowhere else, which is kind of unorthodox. You know, True Rippers usually aggress towards multiple places. But I like it. I like this patience. They know that they have absolutely no reason to aggress. One tap god missed his opportunity and he's like, nah, I get it. This isn't for me. Let's just fall back. There's very little time left for Optimistic Esports and the pressure's on them, so he doesn't really need to push any more buttons. Speaking of pushing buttons, Fox has no smokes left. Now he's dead. Now they just have to rely on Immutable's utility to help them get into a site, which isn't going to be all that great. I mean, if they go from C long, it's going to be possible for the teammates to get inside. But if he himself goes towards Garage and he dies before his teammates get in, then that Viper utility is gone to waste. 28 seconds and Two Rippers still have so much utility to delay this push. I am feeling really nervous. And Paradox getting a kill onto where we got, activating the Sixth Sense. Kawhi walking through the smoke alone. Bro, he doesn't even need eyes. This man's Superman. He's got X-ray vision. Clark Kent in the server, ladies and gentlemen. Who is Kasif Syed? No, sir. His name is Clark Kent. He's got those glasses which prevent him from being recognized by the normal public, but I know who he is. He's a guy with bloody X-ray vision. How on earth do you justify those? I mean, credit where credit is due. Impressive stuff by Paradox, but to some extent, you have to admit that Optimistic Esports didn't play that well. Sure, you lost 2 people through the smoke, understandable, but why did Kawhi have to walk through the smoke all by himself? 3 whole seconds after his jet has died. So he can't even justify that he was pushing to trade. See, those kind of mistakes really help you throw a match. Not gonna lie. And Optimistic Esports, they have nothing to work with this round. A bunch of judges, some eco weapons with no armor. They are throwing everything they've got. And you know what? It's surprisingly working. I didn't expect I'd be saying this, but no armor Vandals are winning against full buys. 2v3. And finally, Optimistic Esports have yet another round which they could potentially win. Unless Relic and Crosshair have something to say about it. Relic definitely won't do much. Crosshair coming in from long, has a backstab angle. No post-on positions available for Optimistic Esports, but this Crossfire should be enough to deal with this. If they triple peek him, then he's a dead man, and there is a pretty good chance that Optimistic Esports get this. Only 1% revealed by the recon. The stun is perfect. And finally, Optimistic Esports win. I was worried that after losing the previous round, they might have been completely destroyed in terms of economy. But then take a look at the amount of weaponry that they throw in. 3 of their players purchasing Phantoms and Vandals without armor. Then you've got 1 guy on Judge. I mean, if scrappy buys like that will work, then good for Optimistic. They need these rounds, but they need to start chaining them together. What's it gonna be this time? From the looks of it, C-side is about to get hit very quickly. But this could be a fake because the Viper wall is on the A side. So what's the play here by Immutable? Just needs to get into the side, and he's been holding on to that Viper Spit for so long. It's about time that they're able to get inside, plant, and then go for the Viper Spit. But nope, it's not going to happen this time either. Immutable, the first one to fall. Kawhi can't really do anything with the flashes, and Fox only gets 1 written to his name. Oh my lord! When Master's hitting shots like that, there's absolutely no way Optimistic can do anything. What a flick! Hit the rewind button, ladies and gentlemen, because that is highlight material. For those of you who are wondering where my friend Universe is, he's gone. Reduced to atoms. I think I do justice to his memory by adding in a Marvel reference, which he would like. But he'll be back soon. I'm more worried about Optimistic Esports over here. Forget Universe. These guys are the ones in trouble. 3 ultimates available for Optimistic. This could finally be a round they take. Orbital Strike could easily clear out one of the areas. Go for the plant and finally let Immutable deploy the Viper Spit. He's been holding on to the Viper Spit for like, what, 5-6 rounds now? And he's not been able to use it even once in this entire half. I would like for this ultimate to not get wasted by the time this half ends. No defenders available on single. Most likely go in for the dash. And True Rippers will play for the retake. Why not? They've got the Neural Theft available, so no, not anymore. Relic just died, so they're gonna have to play around the Viper Spit now. Where we got looking towards Garage and Paradox, he goes undetected. Cheeky kills, and he tries to get away, but Fox will catch him before the teleport is complete. This recon art could be very immense. If someone gets revealed, they could result in an instant death. And playing on the backlines, but he gets pre-fired. Garage position stunned, which means all the players will have to play somewhere towards the planting boxes. Kawhi holding outside, finally able to connect onto Crosshair, and yes, yet another round for Optimistic Esports. About damn time that they use that Viper Spit, and the moment they do, they're able to convert. Very well done by Optimistic Esports. At least by getting that 9-3 score, there is a small chance of a comeback. Although if CC was present over here, he'd call me a superstitious and pompous idiot and tell me that I should go to school. I mean, there are some people who don't believe in the 9-3 curse. Do you guys believe in the 9-3 curse? Let me know in the chat. Let me know if you think Optimistic Esports can get back in this game. That would really be an entertaining game if a comeback happens and True Rippers are really put to the test. But now Optimistic is on the defense. And consider this, their lineup is much more conducive to a defensive side. I mean, the Viper over here somewhat acts like a sentinel, challenging the attackers to come, push through the utility and take damage. Naturally, you have a chamber which is great in the hands of Ion Q, but look at this. The one area which is not guarded is the one area which True Rippers exploit, and one tap got already so deep, getting the kills already. Ion has used up most of his Headhunter bullets, so the plant has already taken place on the B site. Meanwhile, you've got the Jet just lurking around towards A heaven while the plant is in B. Can you imagine a round like that? Paradox just strolling around in the garden, killing everyone he can find. They are all over the place. True Rippers are not even playing post plants anymore. They just don't give a shit. They are moving in to kill all the defenders instead. I mean, one would usually hold post plants, but they don't care. These guys are just going in for the hunt. They are hungry for blood, and they are like a bunch of vampires. Want to suck in all the blood of their enemies, bleed them dry, leave them hanging up with no hopes of a comeback. Pistol goes in the favor of True Rippers. Another round, another day, ladies and gentlemen. It's Optimistic Esports fighting for their lives. They don't have a lot of money, not a lot of weaponry either. But if they try to dash in through this, the shotty could be deadly. One tap god already baits out a shot, goes all the way towards the top, and that's immutable dead. Webby God with a very brave push doesn't get the result that they needed, but at least Fox finds a consolation kill, and that's all she wrote for him. True Rippers seem to be on the verge of victory, getting 11 already, and they seem unstoppable right now. Webby God's ace got him 10 frags in this game, but after that, he's not been able to do much. There's been 3 whole rounds since these guys were able to get a kill last. A tactical timeout called out by Ludo Daddy. That's the coach of Optimistic Esports. And about time, they went in for a tactical timeout. Finally, they will be able to afford the weapons in this buy round. Phantoms and Vandals in the hands of Optimistic, but True Rippers can continue playing on their bonus weapons. The problem over here is that True Rippers are the kind of team that will first take it slow and then group up towards the entrance of the site. They will try to avoid the long-range engagements at all cost. And I think, I have a prediction to make. This could be a bold one, I could be wrong, but I think True Rippers will use Immutable's utility to their own advantage. Use that to cover the distance and get up close and personal to their opponents, and then use the Spectres and the Sheriffs to engage in close-range combat. That way, they can use Immutable's utility against him, cover the distance, and, they won't have to deal with the Phantoms and the weaponry disadvantage. And if things go wrong, it's not like it's the end of the world. True Rippers still have more than enough round buffer. They'll be able to purchase proper weaponry in the next round as well. They just need to get through this one little rough patch. Although, to be completely honest, Optimistic Esports, this whole match has been a rough patch for them. Let's see whether or not they can come back. This could be the penultimate round of the game, ladies and gentlemen. Unless Webby God has something to say about it. He's going to get stunned immediately. No angle available, but One Tap God doesn't care. He continues to tank the fort line, and he successfully gets the ultimate orb, getting his Blade Storm in the process. Present shown towards C-Long. How do Optimistic respond to this? They've called in the big guns. They've called in the rotations towards the C side, but that's not where the actual execute is headed. In fact, the B side is relatively unguarded. There's only one trademark available over here, and nobody to stop it. I mean, if these guys smoke off C-Link and A-Link, they can easily capture, plant. And once again, One Tap God is going to go ahead into A-Link, trying to get the kills onto any defenders who are trying to move inside. And while that's happening, Relic is making nuisance towards A-Long. Okay, this is a massive pinch. I mean, forget post-plant. These guys won't even let the defenders leave their actual site. They won't even be allowed to get off their default positions. That's just how deadly this push is. Relic holding off the back lines. He's got two people coming towards him. The flash is perfect. Ayan, and let me get another one. Crosshair can't do much. People are falling like flies, but the back lines are secured. Front lines not so much. Paradox playing dances around the smoke, and the Master is just trying to delay. The aftershock will not stop the planter, and he's just trying to spam. They concede this round. Hey, no problem. But True Rippers, they can afford to get this round. I mean, they can afford to give it away. Optimistic, on the other hand, they desperately needed this. But the acid test begins now. True Rippers will be having weapons in this round. Big ones. Can Optimistic survive that? And with that, I would like to welcome my fellow co-caster universe once again. Welcome back, buddy.
Yo, hey, sorry guys, I just had a little bit of a huge mess up with my PC, but
A little bit of a huge mess up, yeah, sure. Sure, buddy. Either way, welcome back. You didn't mess much.
well, it kind of looks like it. But so far, Optimistic have coupled up a little bit of a confidence boost here, getting 4 rounds. Given that when I did go away, they were 7-0 down.
Yeah.
True Rippers have got a little bit of aggressive pushing coming through on the A side. One tap God needs to be careful. He is all alone in that smoke, and he's got 3 players on the other side.
Yeah, no trading potential available either at that point. I mean, the spike carry has been detected already. They're going to be pushed back. And with all this already working in their favor, how would you see this? I think True Rippers are going for a massive split. Paradox pushing onto its C along with Relic could be a good distraction. And oh my god, it's not just a distraction. This is destruction of Immutable's head. They get away with a kill, and they're already in the site, moving in, and the spike has been called back towards the C side. The only thing that could go wrong for them is potentially Chamber picking off the spike carrier.
Oh, Crosshairs being a sneaky little fella right now, but lurking as a Sova is not really the best of strats to go with. But it doesn't matter for the moment, as Master's already gotten the spike down. And in this 4v5, True Rippers are looking at the match point coming up for them. It's all on to Crosshair to secure this round. He gets that kill on to Kawhi, and he is going to be securing this round for his team. He's waiting, the cross. Oh, the discipline, the trigger discipline, and there it is. It rewards him the best. And with those 2 kills, it is True Rippers staring down the eyes of match point. Ion might just find one, and YB gets another. Okay, they've pulled back 2 kills, but the time's gone far too much for them to try and secure this round. They're going to be going ahead and saving whatever they've got left, be it a Judge or a Vandal. They're going to have to fight for overtime.
I would actually like it if IonQ goes and dies. This way, he won't get economic penalty. He can probably afford another weapon in the next round, and he'll get 1 point with which he can use his tour de force in the next round. He needs only 1 ultimate point for that ultimate, for the tour de force.
Yeah, he does, but the question here, Cribs, is how long can Optimistic actually hold on? Because it's 1 round for the side of True Rippers to shut this game out and finish it off. Haven looks really a good choice for them to have picked up, and unfortunately, due to some questionable agent selections, the side of Optimistic Esports seem to have given away this map almost for a little bit of a landslide victory.
I don't even think it's about the agent selections. I mean, they would have lost even if the agents were proper. Ayan with the Judge playing in the cheeky corners, getting a kill, and with that, he's got the tour de force available now. Finally, the Danger Man is here, and another Danger Man is on his way. You have Baby God already pushing up A long, and there's no Cypher utility to detect him. He can probably get a kill or 2 while coming here. But the spike has traveled to the A side already. What a bamboozle! They figured out that Baby God would push, and with that, Paradox is able to get a plant. With him being towards window side, he could kill all the attackers over here, but he missed his shots and he missed this opportunity. No problem, at least he's alive. He can regroup with his teammates from B-Link and reassault.
Yeah, but the problem is, Cribs, they've got an ultimate to work with, and Paradox in heaven just adds on to the misery. Relic gets 1 more, and this is already done and dusted for the side of True Rippers. They've got a Rolling Thunder, which is going to be used as a safety measure, while Paradox is going to try and clean up everything. And it's all onto Fox with 8 HP, a 1 versus 3, and hoping to survive, but not going to be alive for that long. That is True Rippers winning out the map of Haven as comfortably as possible.
And while, sure, there were some questionable agent selections, such as the Viper and the Brimstone, I kind of feel like even if they went for something a little bit more comfortable, like maybe a chamber or another sentinel, or maybe even a SOA for that matter, I think Optimistic Esports would have still lost. Because let me tell you a few things that you did miss when you were gone. We had Optimistic walking out of smokes one by one, giving up frags to True Rippers for practically free. Trades were just simply non existent, and decisions of walking through the smokes were questionable at best. So yeah, I think this is more to do with communication and the timings rather than the agent selections actually. I mean, sure, maybe with the SOA things could have been different. All that information would have actually helped them and determine, if SOA is available, you can even set the breach up for success, right? Because then he knows actually where
True.
to fault line. So yeah, that kind of stuff could have been possible. But hey, that's just too much theory crafting, and True Rippers are not about that theory life. They want to do things practically, and they want to get things done already. Let's take a look at the highlights, because True Rippers had some really cool moments and some really cool frags in this game.
Yeah, first point itself, it looked like they had control of this game with, their cheeky plays, the backstabs, which, by the way, they did quite a few times, actually, given that even though there was a chamber available that was allowed to, put out his trademark traps and get something out of, the value of his traps. But even then, we saw multiple times Paradox, just exploiting them, putting down his smoke, just going ahead, getting a multi-kill, and putting his team in a position where they absolutely would not lose. And then there was this round where that flash just teeny tiny bit, it's not even just that, it's not just a questionable agent selection. Sometimes, like you said, the questionable decisions, and also just a little bit of bad luck on the side of it as well, I believe.
Yeah, sometimes luck just wasn't in their lap, is it? I mean, Lady Luck just said, nope, see you tomorrow.
Oh
And that
my
was
God.
evident with the flash being blocked out by the orbital strike round. And then there were several other rounds where I was like, nah, even if Lady Luck came and sat in the lap, I think they would have just shooed her away. Because in rounds like these, you could clearly see that Optimistic Esports were having trouble. I mean, there was rounds where Paradox was able to get free kills because people are walking through his smokes one by one, and he literally turned into X-ray vision man, getting 3 kills through smokes. So yeah, that kind of stuff doesn't happen on a regular basis, and that's just Optimistic Esports squandering their advantages, or the lack of advantages rather.
Yep. Optimistic Esports, while they did have the half secured to a 9-3, the curse just did not seem to be working for them. And well, it doesn't matter what he's playing. Paradox is clearly the MVP. Even with the Omen, be the Jet, or sometimes the Chamber as well, this man just knows how to frag out irrespective of his role. One Tap God is supporting him just as good with 18 kills, Master with 14. And Relic and Crosshair, even though they had not seen or had gotten that much gunfights in their favor, but they still did their best as the roles that would require them to do. Whereas on the other side, YB God, with that one ace that he did get, had a pretty good bump up to 14, but the rest of his teammates were just not towards the same matchup what they would have expected themselves to be against True Rippers today. And that's exactly
Definitely
why. And that's exactly why we've got 13-4 Haven finish up over here, ladies and gentlemen. But hey, we're not done yet. We've got another map coming up, and whether or not we're going to see the third map of Ascent come in is something that is going to be a little bit out. But don't forget, guys, you want an upgrade, go ahead and get it. Don't get your PC switched off like mine. Get that Intel processor, get those upgrades. Don't forget, gaming with Intel. Intel gives you the best gaming value to the best gaming experience. And don't forget, use the hashtag Game with Intel and make sure that you have the best upgrade out there for yourselves. We will be back with map number 2 in just about a bit. Don't go anywhere. TC Gauntlet Season 4 is not yet done.
legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
Hey guys, I'm Ankita. Welcome to Streamer Reviews, the place where you can watch gamers review the best new gaming laptops in the market. Gamers love exploring the vivid detailing of their favorite games. This demands a system that can support their immersive experience. So, we'll be checking out the Intel-powered Lenovo Legion 5, a laptop with features that let you dive into the exciting world of gaming. One of the most important aspects of the Lenovo Legion 5 is its 11th Gen Intel Core i7 processor, with a base clock speed of 2.3 GHz up to 4.6 GHz turbo. It flaunts 8 cores, 16 threads and 24 MB cache. The Legion 5 lets you untether your gaming experience with Intel Wi-Fi 6, ensuring you can enjoy your favorite games wherever you like. Play on the go with up to 75% less latency. The Lenovo Legion AI engine optimizes performance automatically to any of the top 16 AAA games you're playing, with auto detection dynamically allocating CPU and GPU usage accordingly to get up to 15% more FPS. Speaking of senses, there's another sense that's also important for an immersive experience: sound. Thankfully, the Legion 5 has this covered as well. A pair of stereo speakers enabled with dynamic audio gives you an immersive 3D audio experience. Why wait? Get your own Lenovo Legion 5 and dive into the world of gaming today.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to LG Ultragear presents Tec Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial. Our gaming partner is Intel, and our apparel partner is 6x6. Check them out for some stylish jerseys. Go ahead and scan that QR code if you want some Red Bull cans. And of course, it's pretty hot out here, so if you don't want your PCs crashing because of the heat, and if you want some top performance regardless of the situations, go ahead and get yourself some Intel products because they deliver the best value and the best overall gaming experience.
Yep, and don't forget, use the hashtag GameWithIntel to show off your products on your social medias as well. And of course, be as good as the pros that you're watching play in this series. Talking about the pros, let's have a look at what's been going on between True Dippers and Optimistic. And kind of looks like Optimistic have got a little bit of a jump on the gun right now. They need to try and find a way back into their home map of Split, which they have chosen. But it is a map that I do not expect True Rippers to back down easily from either, because Split is a map where True Rippers not actively try to avoid, but when it's on the map pool, they don't have a problem with it either. So this should be a good matchup, given that Optimistic, having chosen this, should have some sort of a game plan going into this matchup.
Well, I'm not sure what the game plan was. I mean, it was a brave plan. Optimistic Esports went into Haven at the very least with a very new, very wild Asian composition. And while it did not really work for them, I hope it doesn't discourage them from trying out new things in a map like Split.
Well, let's find out how much of that encouragement is going to be working out for them, given that these players do have a lot more of a uphill task on their hands right now, Optimistic Esports, because they've got to try and pull this comeback into life. The only thing that we are waiting for so far, ladies and gentlemen, is to see whether or not they can actually give a competition to True Rippers, because in the map of Haven, it didn't even look like it until that 9 and 3 half was settled in. And in the second half, giving away only one round, True Rippers settled that match and put it to bed immediately. And the way that True Rippers have been playing, not just as a team, but individually, every single player has been crushing it. This is a scary, scary situation for Optimistic to be in, because their playoff journey could be settled by this map right here. This is the last match, mind you, ladies and gentlemen. And
Oh,
if they
yeah.
don't win this, they are going to be on that 7-point mark. And True Rippers are going to be moving up to 6, which means they're just 1 point away. And their fate lies in the balance of other teams now losing or winning their next few games. And that is not a very optimistic position to be in.
Not at all optimal at all. If True Rippers are able to win this one, they walk away with 2 points. Yeah, that brings them up to 6. Then they have 2 whole matches left,
Yep.
in which they need to win just one in order to overtake Optimistic. They need to win one map to tie up with them. So
Indeed.
definitely True Rippers are the ones who are happier right now. But let's see if the happiness will still be on their faces by the end of this game, or will those turn into little frowns. We jump into the agent selection for Split.
Well, we have seen a KO being played on this map since the inception of KO. And I think that he slowly crept into a meta for almost every single map. I think even on the international scene, I've seen a couple of teams, go for that KO pick, even on Breeze as well, even though it's such a huge map. And I think that KO is like the perfect counter to literally every agent out there. He can deny the chamber from teleporting. He can deny the jet from dashing away. He can deny the raise, his ultimate while mid-air. KO is just the all-round counter to every single agent. I think he's a good pick, and Master should probably go for it. But I don't see that coming on the other side from the side of OE. While there is a bit of a question mark that I would like to place on Kawhi for playing the Astra on Split, I would like to see what Immutable's up to. Is he going to go for that Viper yet again? Nope, he's going for the Jet. Okay. A double duelist against a single duelist setup here. This should be an interesting one. Again, no information-based utility in terms of utility in initiators. It's Vibegod playing the breach yet again here, Crips. And you can see we've got a Sky on the other hand who, again, is a forefront of information plus flashes. And not to forget, we've even got the KO who's got his knives as well as his ultimate.
So let's see. On paper, True Rippers have 2 characters that can gather information aggressively. One character in the form of Cypher who can prevent backstabs and gather information passively.
Indeed.
Optimistic have just Ion. And he's in a chamber where his trademarks will be deactivated the moment he's dead. And he's going to have to play around his teleports, which severely limit the amount of map in which he can freely roam. And on top of that, you have a Breach who has not really been successful in Haven. Not even individually, but even as a team, they were not able to capitalize on the Breach's utility well.
While they are actually switching approach, you can see Kawhi was playing the Breach in the previous map, and now it's Vibegod playing the Breach.
Yeah, and Immutable was playing the Viper, now he's playing the Jet.
Yeah. So there is a lot of shift-ups between the two teams, between Optimistic Esport players, but let's find out if it works out for the best for them.
Sorry, only one player is playing the same thing. It's just Ion who's playing on the same chamber as he was in the last game.
Ooh. Okay, one tap got a master. Take out a little bit of a chunk of players onto the side of Optimistic. And here's Paradox, who stepped into the smoke, but over there is still Ion present. who takes him out. It's still a 3v2 though that the defense is going to be completely okay with. They have information of both players being towards B main. Now they're stuck because one tap god is going to hold off rotations towards mid. And you can already see one rotation going back towards A.
He's just trying to buy time. This guy is looking to gather information while buying space for her teammates to move in. One tap gone with the elevation, easily decapitates Ion, and he follows up with the other one too. Triple for one tap god in the pistol, and that's a good way to start the game.
It most certainly is. Unfortunately for Ion, he was planting in an angle where the minute he pops out, he's either got somebody peeking in from defender side spawn or he's got somebody from rafters as well. And he unfortunately looked in the wrong direction, and one tap god just spares him the trouble of looking anywhere else. Good start for True Rippers yet again. The pistol convincingly won. And here we are. You know, I was talking about this yesterday as well, and I was telling this to Aggie. Unpopular opinion, but according to me, the best weapon in the game is Shorty.
I mean, if you're close enough to your enemies, yeah. Although the one tap god, the sheriff and the specters will sing the song of death.
What?
True Rippers spraying them all down. True Rippers, wildly unsuccessful after what seemed to be a very successful pistol, have lost all steam.
Well, Relic is the only one carrying the train forward now, and he's probably going to be facing Fox in just about a couple of seconds. Fox is in the perfect angle to catch him off guard. There's no way he expects this, and there's a flawless force buy round that has come in from OE. A well done force buy as well, which I did not expect them to go in for, given that they did not get a plant.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think even True Rippers expected that. 1 second they're out there with their sheriffs looking to pick up engagements towards bottom mid. The next thing they know, they're getting chased down by specters. Sprayed down by them too.
Exactly. And now that caused the side of True Rippers to come on an eco, but they are going on an aggressive mid push, it seems. Masters holding down that flash. Wants to pop it on towards mid. There's two flashes running left and right, and Vibe God's gonna get pushed back, but what he doesn't know is that one tap God's actually crept in real close and they're running towards B, expecting this push to come in, and they don't care about it. While one tap God has got a trap to worry about, he covers it up and they've got no idea. No, they do. They should, and they will take care of him. There's one more to worry about. There's a Bucky, which is a little too powerful in that range. While Paradox is the last one remaining, he might have a little bit of force in him to take out at least one player. Unless he just chooses to run away.
Well, he's not running away from a fight, he's just running towards another one. Look how he's got the bigger weapon over here. Not often you get to see Bucky getting 2 kills in a round, but hey, this is split, and if you get up close to your enemies, you can use it. True Rippers now finally having the bigger guns. I do expect them to play aggressively towards mid once again, except without the pushing in. They can just continue to hold the angles. Optimistic though, must continue on their bonus round with only Kawhi upgrading a weapon. Drops the Bucky in favor of a Vandal.
Now they need to be careful here, True Rippers. The side of OE have got a good grip on what split is. In the first half, they've performed much better than they did on Haven. While the tripwires of Relic are being proved to be useless here, as a lot of sound is being given, but that flash, unfortunately, does not get him a kill on one end, but it will on the other. Crosshair takes down 2, as OE have been crippled down, and Relic takes care of the remaining 2 oncoming towards the site. A good, clean round execute from the side of True Rippers. An immediate run in towards the A side proves to be a little bit too much for OE. They give away the second round. This looks far more competitive than the previous map here, Crips, and I'm liking it. This is better.
Tell me something. Why were the attackers moving into the site while looking towards heaven? There was no smoke over there. They're looking towards heaven while their teammates are already fighting on ramp. And then they get killed by Relic. And he doesn't even get shot back at. That's the kind of mistake that Optimistic are making. And again!
What?
One tap got with a wild goose chase. He chases down his enemy to the ends of the earth. And Fox finally has to say a lot of things to take him down. But hey, this resulted in the death of Master for absolutely no reason. And this Showstopper doesn't kill Crosshair. At least the Phantom does. A lot of weird things happening in this round. But hey, this was some of the most high-octane action that we've seen in this game.
Oh yeah. Now in a 1v3, Relic has been left alone and he has been killed as well. 2-3 the scoreline. The side of Optimistic are looking to take us to Ascent. But it's still a long journey to go that way because the minute we see True Rippers pick up their force, it's gonna be a lot more difficult. They still haven't settled in the groove of split, it seems like. While True Rippers have got a good 2 rounds, they're still... It kind of looks like they're not yet the perfect coordinational team that we saw them on Haven to be. They're a little disgruntled, and they're trying to figure out what the side of OE are doing, and especially given that OE are actually playing so aggressive and they're not afraid of taking fights on this map. And here's One Tap God completely proving me wrong.
It's just a Blade Storm, and he's like, yeah, I don't mind throwing it away. I don't mind giving it away. Another ultimate op captured, and True Rippers, while they have nothing to lose, they're playing aggressively, and they're hoping to just get picks and maybe information about how Optimistic like to play. So they've killed people in so many different places already.
Wow.
I mean, there's deaths happening towards B Heaven, towards B Main, towards A Ramp. Optimistic are falling like flies, and that too in every part of the map. And while Optimistic knew that True Rippers are on an eco, they still don't stick together. They offer up all these individual frags, letting the Sheriffs do the hard work. And another cheeky angle taken by Paradox. His opponent runs out of the bullets and he peeks him at the right time. See, that's the kind of stuff that I was worried about, Universe. Questionable decisions. Defaults held, but not effectively. And they knew that True Rippers are the kind of team that does something wacky on their eco round. So why weren't you prepared for this?
It's not even about just being prepared. It's that they kind of split up. When you know that the opponents are playing on a buy that is not really well put, they're going to try and stack it, right? And their stack was towards B. But they did have a player on A who Master clearly took care of. They split across. They lost players individually across many different fronts.
Yeah.
That led them to buy an easy round into their favor.
And
because
no trades.
of that, yep. No trades at all. Only the one.
Careful.
And here's True Rippers having an operator in their hands of One Tap God. And OE have been slowed down.
Immutable back to the Bucky and the Blade Storm. Seems like 2 Bs can help him do the trick, but can he get the B side? Instead, he's going to be running towards Vent. Now, with him in this position, Optimistic Esports can take a chill pill. They've gotten the difficult part of the map. They can continue sending their jet into deeper enemy territory while they explore other options. If Immutable is able to time it correctly and climb up at the right time, he can easily catch One Tap God, and this can prevent some deaths. I mean, One Tap God with the op can definitely be a force to be reckoned with. And here you go, continues to pop off. Immutable still irrelevant, not coming into the action. Maybe the Cosmic Divide can help, but the Rolling Thunder is absolutely useless.
Done. Oh, Immutable's allowed to crawl by weight. Who was that? Did Master not spot him?
He didn't hear him because of the Cosmic Divide, and this is what cost them the ramp control. Hey, but it's still fine. The A side is heavily stacked. There's 3 defenders. Spike being sent all the way back to its sewers with 20 seconds left. Even though True Rippers One Tap God died in a very funny way, it's still okay. True Rippers can still win the round if they stop the spike plant from going down. And the first point of contact is going to be Master. He doesn't even need to get the kills, just hold them back. Immutable being the bodyguard for his teammate, trying to go in and plant. And it's been planted right under him. Immutable continuing to pop off. Just one threat left, and that's going to be Relic. Cannot afford to give him a corpse. That's what the Cypher wants the most.
Well, as much as he would want it, time is even a factor to work around, and given that there's no cops around him, because Immutable's not gonna leave anything to chance, gets a beautiful 4K, round turned around on its head thanks to his one little lock towards Wentz. And I could have sworn to God there, Crips. I'm pretty sure that Immutable was spotted out by Master. He just jumped across and went through and killed One Tap God.
Yeah.
I don't know how they allowed that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, Master was busy dealing with the A Heaven region, and from that Heaven window, he was trying to provide cover. You also got to consider that Webby had to commit his Rolling Thunder, and Kawhi had to use his Cosmic Divide in order to make that successful. That's probably why Master was not able to cover his teammates, but yeah, that takes a brave amount of effort from Immutable to walk into a position like that. Now both the Jets once again in the same position, fighting vent to vent. Except one has an AWP and one has a Vandal. I'm kind of concerned about the AWP being in such a close quarter position. Yeah, that's exactly why. Misses the shot, has to disengage. And while that's happening, Paradox has conceded his life towards B main. Options are opening up for him for Optimistic Esports.
Yeah, they most certainly are. Losing the Paradox is equal to no smokes. That means they cannot cover off angles for a retake. If at all, they need to go for one. But here's Master trying to do his best to stop them from getting any sort of map control. Pushes them back towards mid. Even disables Sky's abilities for a bit. But this round is far from over. 45 seconds left. The B side is still looking as a point of attraction for the attackers, as Crosshair wants to get rid of Kawhi, but Kawhi is being like that stubborn little leech who will just not let go of you. But Crosshair's found one. Master adds on. Master gets two. He's got support on the other side, and one tap god takes him out from the heavens above. And it's all onto Ayan, who might have an operator that just will not be as useful as he would want it to be.
Just Ayan left. Save the AWP. Get a kill. Or two.
10 seconds
It's
left.
been pushed back all the way. Yeah, it seems like he will be able to get away with the AWP. Unless one tap god pushes the avenue even further. But the round definitely belongs to True Rippers. Timing not there for him. Hey, at least he survives. So that's good. That's probably all that they were looking for too. Now with this AWP, they have enough money to purchase Phantoms and Vandals, so it's not like Optimistic Esports are completely done with this. But the problems start to step up now. With both the teams winning 1-1 round each, one after the other, none of the teams really get to build an economic momentum. Which means all of them are on the constant threat of being reset and having to go back to ego territory.
That is true. Now, the thing that Optimistic Esports have taken a timeout for is to clearly figure out how to stop True Rippers' momentum, because they're going toe-to-toe right now against their opponents on this map, and this is not really the most idealistic of situations for them to be in, because this half could end out on a 6-6, which they would have hoped for to be a little bit better tipped on towards their side of the seesaw. Maybe a 7-5, 8-4. Anything would look good for the side of Optimistic Esports if they can somehow pull it off after this round. But with the way things are going, it's blow for blow right now. And True Rippers are just as good as they are. Nothing to separate them. Although the economy of Optimistic is looking good, they can't really take too many of these blows going ahead, because on the attack, especially on a map like Split, which is so close cornered and vertical rather than horizontal, the operator is not really the best of options to have on the attack as like it is on defense. Except for a couple of angles.
Let's see if they can find those couple of angles, couple of chinks in the armor. One tap god's already finding the kills he needs. Immutable walks into his crosshair. There were people available to trade him out too, but Webby God just simply doesn't peek after Immutable dies over there. Realizes there's no point. Much rather stay alive and help set his teammates up for success towards the A side instead. As they start to cross in towards this side, they haven't put any... Okay, yeah, they have in fact put some smokes, which is good. The last time Relic was able to kill them all. But this time, Fox takes the high road. Goes right above Relic's traps and nails him. Master also trying to come through the back lines now, liberating the pressure towards the ultimate orb area, and he's managed to suppress two people. That's good, but he hasn't suppressed the breach, and that could be problematic. As Utility continues to bombard on top of True Rippers, Paradox climbs, and he also takes the high ground. Using the same tactic that Fox used to get those two initial kills, this time True Rippers are able to walk out with much more success.
Yo, the fact that he was allowed to do that teleport out in the open, literally in front of 3 players, and nobody was even paying attention, thinking that he's not, Paradox is, ballsy, but not that ballsy. Come on. Like, obviously, he's not going to teleport right in front of our faces, but he did. And he just got 2 free kills out of it. And not to mention, he's exploited clearly the speed of that Omen teleport that has been given a recent buff.
Yeah, and all it took was just one flash from Master to set that up.
Perfectly executed. Even that grenade was very good by Master to get Vibegod out of his position, force him to take a fight, and eventually even that fight for him to fail. 5-4. Paradox has secured the round for his team as True Rippers move up by another number. And OE are a little downgraded in terms of weaponry for the moment. At least Ion, he doesn't have money, but he does have Tour de Force.
Shooting all the common angles that a Cypher can put your utility in. This time though, none of that utility is in place. Look at the trap fire placement coming in from Mr. Relic over here. He's put one trap fire just between the pillar and a little above the screens area. So it doesn't really, stop anyone from coming into its start. It only stops them if they try to venture to its screens. Another trap fire is in between the tall box which Paradox climbed last time and the default screen.
Well, as heavily as passive that is. Oh no! Relic! He went out into his own case thinking he could survive that flash, but here's. Wait, what? What's YB doing? He still goes in. How?
30
Okay,
seconds left.
I'm just gonna let that slide because what YB just did.
It's okay.
I'm not understanding
Universe.
this game anymore.
Yeah, it's okay. It happens sometimes. Some games just do be like that. Does one tap god have what it takes to make me say it do be like that? He's got the op. 2 blades left as well. One player right next to him. Double kick coming in, and he still survives that one. Surprised that he managed to live through that. Not for any longer. Ion with the Tour de Force finally forcing him down. Yeah, but that awkward exchange of utility and frags to its screens. I mean, if Relic stayed alive for just one more second, he would have got a very confused Webigod in his trap fire, and Webigod could have been killed through the smokes.
Yep.
But Relic died, following Webigod to push in while the other two were pushing out, and then they both just sail past each other like ship. It's like a bunch of ships sailing past each other in the night.
Yeah, but the fact that YB literally went into that screen smoke with his knife out at first.
Yeah, that
I'm
was
like,
just...
yo, hello, what is happening?
I mean, brave is an understatement for something like that.
Well, for the moment, Paradox is being a little too brave with a shorty in his hands and going that far out in the open, knowing that that weapon cannot deal as much damage as he would hope, more than 3 or 4 meters off a distance. And while Immutable's been blinded, they're actually not sure if he's here. Now they should know. Here comes the Rolling Thunder, but before one tap god gets stunned, he's gonna find a kill. Immutable's taken a little bit of damage from that cabbage as well in terms of slowing him down. And look at how Relic's coming from the back tab. How is this working out? YB got 2, but he's down to 42 HP. And mid has been made into a graveyard while Kawaii comes in from B main to find a kill. The side has been opened up and it's open for business while Kawaii tries to secure it with his Cosmic Divide. The plant will go down, that's for sure. But it's now on to one tap god and Master to get this clutch of 2v2 going in their favor.
He won't get flashed, it's behind him. Kawaii survives that one, swings wide. One tap god runs out of bullets, but it switches over.
Oh man.
Kill for this man, and he's at 15 frags already. What a god indeed.
It's literally what would happen if we had Mike Tyson going up against Muhammad Ali. Even though Muhammad Ali, I would say the greatest of all time, it's just a blow for blow that's been happening between two great teams right now. Optimistic win one, Shurip was immediately hit back, even though the circumstances like this are so, well, I want to put it as interesting, not weird. It's still giving us a lot more, I want to say entertainment. I don't want to say, I mean, don't want to put it too far out there.
Muhammad Ali used to say that you should float like a butterfly and sting like a bee, but in that round, while these guys were floating like butterflies, going in and out of the smokes and getting close, the shorties don't hit like bees, they hit like sledgehammers. And that's how they got the round, with a bunch of shorties and recovered weapons. This time the early engagement doesn't work, but one tap's got already towards sewers. And do they know about this? Even if they do, can they face him? The shorty is just so deadly at that range. Nobody will dare to challenge. Master's getting challenged from the ropes instead. So now poor one tap god has to go all the way around mid instead of helping his teammate Relic out, who's currently alone on the site.
Okay, Relic, he's got both the cages to protect himself from anybody walking into the site, but he needs to be careful. He's got positioning of 1, positioning of 2, kills of 2 even.
What?
Done! Relic! absolutely brilliant.
Holy moly! It takes a goddamn rocket launcher to stop him, but at what cost? He survives flanks, he survives triple peaks, and he survives rockets long enough to shoot Fox down. That is just ridiculous, Relic. That is highlight material at its finest. And look at the face. He's not even smiling. It's just another day in the office for him.
Well, Relic clearly living up to his name. When spelled backwards, he is for sure a cold-blooded killer. And that round right there is a mark of his skills at the best of his abilities. Now, with the 7-5 half in the favor of True Rippers, they've got themselves on the attack, and One Tap God's just running casually onto the B-Heaven side like it's just another day in the office. Gets pounded by that Boombot, while Immutable takes out Relic, and here's the B-Heaven side turning into a nightmare for the side of True Rippers as Kawaii just shuts them out. True Rippers, what?
Yeah, they're just a firing squad over there. 3 defenders ready with their Ghosts and Classic, staring down the same narrow corridor the True Rippers decide to peek into. The result? A bloodbath.
Well, the pistol might have gone through the side of Optimistic, but they still have a lot more to make up over here. They have to win a map and then one. That's the only way they're going to be able to win this series. Whereas the side of True Rippers, they're just a couple of rounds away from shutting this whole thing down. And again, One Tap God, this time with the shorty. The best weapon in the game, but unfortunately, it's not going to work out for him. Paradox, although has crawled up close, YB God has got a big bad judge to take care of him.
Enemy remaining.
As Ion clears up the B main for Masters Lurks, and the last man standing, Corsair, is just going to be awaiting his death. Flawless round for the side of OE, but here's where the real game begins. Now they need to keep up their pace. Now they need to start their momentum surfing, because if the side of True Rippers are able to keep up just as much as they have in the first half, giving them blow for blow and then finishing off the half in their favor, it is going to be a little difficult for the side of Optimistic Esports to keep themselves in the best way possible. Above the water.
Above the water, nose and just, your nose and your mouth hovering above, breathing while your legs are furiously cycling underneath to stay afloat. From what we saw in the previous game and what we are seeing right now, Optimistic Esports surely seem like a different team. They're putting up rounds, they're making True Rippers sweat, and it's not just one person who's carrying the entire game. Nope. Fox, Sky, Immutable, all of them are putting up frags, all of them in double digits. Whereas on the side of True Rippers, it's just One Tap God with 15 frags, everyone else with 9, 7, 6, that kind of stuff.
Well, a small little tech pause came in, but we are resuming the match back. As the side of OE this time, well, as much as the weaponry they would have liked to have faced off True Rippers with this round, they're going to have to do with the Spectres and the Judge and the Marsh and, forgive me, the Sheriff that they've got. Let's see how well they can handle the force of True Rippers as they move in towards A. That camera, unfortunately, not being destroyed. The jumping Sheriff, not the most accurate weapon. It's a very interesting split approach from True Rippers towards mid and A. Is coming in. One Tap God still aware of the fact that somebody could be on the other side of that smoke. Waits for it to dissipate away. Spots out Kawaii, who immediately retreats.
But with all this utility expended, True Rippers have little to show for their map efforts. They've just about to start knocking on the doors of B Mail, and they've already used up both the smokes of Paradox. They're gonna have to wait 30 more seconds for him to get another one. Available at 5, Relic peaks, and okay, True Rippers are actually getting all that they need. Kawaii sees 3 people at once and he's like, nah, I cannot afford to stay here, but he still peeks out later on and dies to Master. Questionable decision, even after you had everything you needed. YB God won't be seeing any action as he hopes to cheekily get through the smoke and maybe catch someone who's trying to get off. But Immutable's flank will be detected instantly. Immutable would have never expected Paradox to be in that region.
Wait, what? No, I want to see it on replay. We did not just see it, right? Hold on. If I wish I can see it on slow motion. Because Crips, where the hell did the bullets go? So many pellets from that judge are being released in a single moment. Wait.
Can we slow-mo that?
No. Yo, the first 2 shots he missed, but the third one was, I think, on his shoulder. And that was okay.
That was a F moment.
Vibe
A
God's
bra
gonna be
moment.
forgetting that for sure.
Oh, never. This is the kind of stuff that keeps you up at night.
Well, I have to agree. I have more of those moments in the day than you can imagine, but...
I know.
Oh, of course. Okay. Okay.
Anyway, I'm done with that. Oh my god, Kawhi is not done. He wants to exact revenge for what happened to him last round. Master caught with his pants
He's
down, with bombs around him. And that's shrapnel entering his almost metallic body. Ion also getting a free frag. Thrifties is getting absolutely annihilated in this buy round. It's funny how they can win the best of Thrifties, but with this, they have absolutely no say.
Yep, and as good as they have been, it's still going toe and toe between these two teams. And OE with that good stratted push towards the mid region has allowed them to not just get kills thanks to utility, pressure True Rippers back from even entering close to the entrances of B Heaven or A Wentz. They've just completely split them apart, torn them apart, and now because of that, the side of True Rippers need to be a little bit careful about how they approach this entire round. Paradox has been reduced to just a sheriff in this round. He's hoping to try and maybe figure out something he can do. Immutable. This is a good off angle, but he's been spotted and he's been tapped out of existence.
Falling like flies, optimistic Esports. But this is a two-pronged approach. On one hand, you've got 3 members of True Rippers with the spike ready to go on B. On the other hand, you've got 2 people coming in from A. And I don't know what's the play over here, because the spike has been detected and now it's just Paradox left. He's gonna have to concede it, get out. He's just hoping to dodge the showstopper, but oh my god, Fox detects the movement. He knows where the teleport's happening and he deals with it.
Well, as much as Paradox tried to 200 IQ or 5-head the side of Fox was just a little too good and realized that, oh, I know where you're moving, I know where you're teleporting. Relic has been left alone, and the result of that in a 1v2, make that a 1v1, and with a healthy amount of life left on him, he can just play for time. He knows where Ion is. He's gonna go straight into the side if he chooses to. He will get the plant down, that's for sure, but he's trying to fake it and see if Ion is gonna try and pop his head out for an early kill. No is gonna be the answer. Relic is still holding on. Battle of the Sentinels here. As the plant will go down. 10 seconds left and the plant goes down. Relic has an idea. No, he doesn't. Turns around and Ion's perfectly positioned play allows him to get another round for his team and even the operator.
The fake plant actually ended up working against him. Funny that kind of stuff happens because Killer had been given absolutely everything he needed to make this clutch possible. Not gonna lie, I didn't like the fact that Optimistic Esports were playing all separate. That probably could have allowed the clutch to go through, but have to admit that Paradox moving around left and right, teleporting back and forth, did make for some really interesting moments and some laughs as well.
Yeah,
But,
Paradox
yeah,
could have, you know, he tried to 5-head him, but he could have just teleported way back and maybe gone towards his spawn.
I mean, yeah, even with the Omen buffs, you have to admit that at the highest level of play, the Omen plays do become kind of predictable. And Paradox, whenever his Omen teleports have been successful, you notice that most of those teleports have not been safe teleports. They were the wacky, ballsy ones which nobody expects. Oh my god, one tap god didn't expect that. Fox walks out, even Ion peeks, and they're just walking into these deadly crossfires. They're not able to break them.
Of course not. With the pistols, there's only so much you can do. Thrifties don't really come around that often, and there's a reason for that. But Master, right now, has gotten a little bit of pressure onto OE. They're not really pushing on him, knowing that he is potent with this Sheriff. He has a Vandal lying across the other side, which he will look to go pick up. And he has it now. This is a chance. He's got every piece of utility on him available. And he can try and find one person off guard. No, the trap is right there. And Kawhi knows this, and he's gonna find him. Well-timed peek. And that's number 10 for the side of OE. Two Rippers are looking in a little bit of a deep water right now. They need to find out how exactly their swimming gear is going to help them. Because for the moment, side of OE are clearly liking the waters that they are in.
It's infested with sharks. I'm gonna tell you that. And True Rippers are bleeding. Sharks are coming and they know it. 3 ultimates available for True Rippers. This could be good. One of them is the Seekers. This could be interesting because the moment you pop it, it can allow you a small window of opportunity. Even the null command has been activated, but the Seekers come through before that, and these guys once again get absolutely shredded. It's like walking into a meat grinder. You just get completely butchered, ripped apart, and minced. Relic once again in the same position. Iron Q was able to kill him last time. This time he's got so many more people to worry about. Getting a kill through the cyber cage is still impressive, but it doesn't get you the rounds.
Well, with that, number 11 coming up with the side of OE, looks like Split is their baby, and they have made sure that we see it. This is the point where True Rippers have to give it everything they've got. Because as soon as that match point comes up for the side of Optimistic, we're going to be seeing Ascent coming in. Because the side of True Rippers have right now placed themselves in an economical hell. More than half their players are playing on half armor. And if they lose this, well, it's going to be a good night, and Ascent is going to be on the horizon.
Four ultimates available for Optimistic versus 3 on the side of True Rippers. Oh, come on, being popped last time didn't really get them what they needed, and even the Seekers led to certain death. I mean, the judge in that position really can be so annoying, and this time they don't even need anything. It's just the boombots getting them free kills.
I need to understand, why is it exactly that the side of True Rippers are approaching that mid-region time and time again when they know that they are being completely ridiculed?
I mean, it's not like they're doing anything wrong. True Rippers are using the utility correctly. But when stuff like this happens, what can True Rippers do? Yeah, tell me, what can True Rippers do? Fox with the movement has been so good in this game. There was that one round where he jumped over Relic's utility on the first half and he got that kill, and now it's been this one. The mid-region just seems to be like an absolute meat grinder for the side of Optimistic Esports. They are shutting down anything and anyone that moves in that region. They just spam the bullets, and they hit. You try to put smokes in the way, you try to flash them out, you try to put Seekers and cabbages on their heads. It doesn't matter. The bullets still connect, and True Rippers are not able to shoot back.
Clearly.
Maybe they need to relook at whether or not they want mid at all, or whether they should go towards some other part of the map and maybe have some direct approaches towards the side.
You know,
it's not the best, but it's worth a try.
Yeah, you know, what I was thinking was they could have tried to maybe just give out a little bit of a fake mid presence. Just have one player, maybe Crosshair, throw out his flashes, give a little bit of presence towards mid, while the rest of the team actually tries to make moves towards the other side of the map, which could be the A side or the B side, given that they know that the Breach and Race both are holding down mid so hard with the utility, which is not just concussive, but also explosive, right? And that combination is always, you know, spelling out death for you. But
I need this.
3 rounds in a row, True Rippers have gone mid, and 3 rounds in a row, they have lost themselves towards that mid region, at least 2 or 3 players at a bare minimum. And now with this last final round, what it looks like at least, it's on to True Rippers to show us whether or not it is possible. While Paradox tries to get information towards a Heaven, side of True Rippers are making themselves available as the trap has been triggered, and now there's nothing stopping One Tap God from moving into this region.
Oh, such an aggressive position. His fellow teammate Relic is trying to make footstep noises, hoping that they'd look at him instead, but one tap god wakes up and chooses violence. Flies over his head like an attack helicopter and decapitates Ion. Now more smokes to make sure that TrueRippers can move into the site without problems. Spike's been blunt, and Immutable tries to pull off something from one tap god. Spoken, Relic goes fly hunting, shooting down the birds and the jets. Kawaii comes through the smoke. Timing works out for him, but both the attackers now are towards ramps. This is just going to be a fight. I don't think there's going to be any diffusing involved. Oh no, he looks away at the wrong time. Kawaii's Cosmic Divide is not going to help him one bit. And it's perfect. TrueRippers stay alive for yet another round, but they're going to have to keep doing this again and again and again for 3 rounds straight, and then some more to push us into overtime.
Yeah, but you need to consider the fact that in this round, TrueRippers have got no ultimates, whereas the side of OE have got 4. And 3 of those are a little too damning, which is the Chamber's Tour de Force, the Raze's Showstopper, and of course the Rolling Thunder by the Breach. All 3 of those are pretty damn good on their own, but the moment they won't be needing Ion to pop his Tour de Force, because they already have an operator online. Yet again, he sits with the Judge while we got towards mid, and he has been really annoying TrueRippers with that across the entirety of this map when on defense. Again, they go towards mid. Again, they're trying to find success here when they know there's players here who have been stopping them time and time again. TrueRippers are in a really difficult situation right now, having to pull out all of their strats in one round after the other, just doing all they can. And for the first thing, they need to get that kill, and of course it's secured. Fox, he triggers the showstopper, but he does not hit anybody. He gets the kill mid-air.
No way.
Fox shuts him down. And that's about it. It seems like 4 versus 2. And Relic and Paradox, well, what can you do?
I mean, the idea was there. Paradox with the paranoia should have been able to blind anyone and set up his teammates for success. And even one tap got anticipated that the showstopper will come through and he updrafted, but then when he gets plucked off midair, what can you expect, man? That's just ridiculous. And Paradox will most likely never check behind him, letting Hawaii get a kill for free. It's just killer left. He's coming in from the back lines. He's managed to catch his first player off guard, but now he's up against Ion, and with very little time, he just needs to hit the pedal to the metal, and there's no time left to blunt. He's gonna have to fight his way to win, and that's not possible. Hawaii already climbing up the rope. Whew. After what we saw in Haven, I never thought that we would get to see a comeback from Optimistic Esports. They've done enough. They've pushed us to Ascent. Finally, a 3rd map.
Yeah, clearly. And this is a very interesting round. And you can see this. The Masters clearly not happy with this map. The way they performed has not really been the best of what they could have done on Split. We know that TrueRippers are pretty good on Split themselves as well. But hey, it all has to come down to Ascent, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to see both these teams picking up 1 point, and now we have actually kind of made them themselves a little bit more stable in terms of points, because now they move up to 8 points. And whether they're going to get that 9th is a question, but let's move to the match highlights to see what exactly was the reason TrueRippers kind of lost that out all towards the end, because the first half, even though it was going blow for blow, TrueRippers had a pretty good control being on the defense, but on the attack, when that scoreline came up to 8-8, they kind of slipped out.
Yeah, I mean, most of it had to do with the fact that TrueRippers were not able to break that crossfire of Optimistic on mid in the second half. Although I must say that they were doing a pretty good job of holding Optimistic back on the first half. Killer had some amazing moments. There was this moment where I thought that, yeah, it's going to be like Haven all over again, because Optimistic failed to check the angles. They didn't smoke at the right places, and they didn't enter at the right time. So when Relic was able to get those double kill, I thought that, yeah, Optimistic will continue the mistakes and TrueRippers will take the lead. And they did take the lead in the first half. It was 7-5 with Relic. He's going to be able to put up one more amazing highlight moment with a quad kill. You'll see it when it comes around. But yeah, after that, what Optimistics did was really unorthodox. I mean, it's not like they were doing something completely out of the ordinary to hold them down, but it was just a good old crossfire on mid, and it worked, even though it was very simple to look at.
Yeah, I gotta agree. In the initial stages, OE were trying to do different things, and Immutable was being really, really annoying to deal with. And I think that this map was all for the taking. I think Immutable, in certain situations, it looked like he wasn't really fragging out, even though he's just got 13 kills. But that man was actually doing so much with not just the operator, but like I said, the shorty, the best weapon in the game, guys. But
Oh yeah.
Fox was honestly the MVP of this game for the particular reason that this man, not just with his utility, with his aim, completely destroyed the side of Two Rippers. And because of that particular reason, that Two Rippers just couldn't hold on to the momentum that Optimistic Esports were throwing at them. Waves were just a little too much for them to handle. We're going to see this tsunami finish off on the scent.
Yeah, I mean, there was so many good moments. I mean, we had quad kills from Fox like 2, 3 times, even Relic stepping up, but unfortunately wasn't able to step up as much as Fox did. 25 kills for this man. What an explosive performance, pun intended. Fox, clearly the MVP of this game, and what else can you expect from him? I mean, most people ask, what does the Fox say? We know the answer. It's boom.
Well, clearly. And even though One Tap God did have a pretty good performance in the first half, he did have 15 kills about, I think, around the 10th, 11th round. It was more or less done and dusted after Fox took control of it all by himself. 25 kills for the man. We are going to be seeing all of it end on ascent, ladies and gentlemen. For the moment, though, we just hope to see how much more entertaining this match can get. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and check out the description below of our sponsors, especially Intel, who have given everything into their latest processors. Gaming gives the best value with Intel, and of course, the best gaming experience comes through Intel. Don't forget, use the hashtag GameWithIntel and show off your products in your social media platforms. We're going to be back in just a couple of minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. The LG Ultragear presents TC Gauntlet Season 4 is going to be back in just a few.
legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
Hi guys, this is Zaya and welcome to Streamer Reviews, where gamers review the best new gaming laptops. We gamers are always on the lookout to get more out of our systems. If you're looking for a laptop that can exceed your expectations, check out the Dell G15 gaming laptop. Its 11th gen Intel Core i7 processor surpasses my expectations with a max turbo frequency of 4.6 GHz. It also has a game shift key on the keyboard which triggers a dynamic performance mode to maximize the fan speeds to keep your system cool while the processors push harder. The G15 also sports an Intel Thunderbolt 4 port which boosts your transfer speeds to unbelievable levels with its blazing fast bandwidth of up to 40 Gbps. It also lets you connect all your accessories using a single port. It's obvious that this system is designed to go above and beyond to deliver the results that you desire. Get your Dell G15 powered by 11th gen Intel Core processor now.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the LG Ultragear presents Tec Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial, with gaming partner Intel and apparel partner 656. Guys, if you guys want your upgrades to be just as good as any other pros out there, do go ahead and check out the description below for the Intel products. Do know that Intel delivers the best gaming value and the overall best gaming experience. So don't forget to use the hashtag GameWithIntel every time you get your products to show off all of your upgrades. Now, let's move into the match and find out what exactly is going to be the climax to this anticlimactic match so far. What we were expecting to be a True Ripper 2-0 has turned out to be a 1-1 matchup so far. And Optimistic have picked up their home map, and now we go to the ground zero that we call Ascent.
I mean, I'm glad that you called it Ground Zero because that's really what it is. It's no man's land. Nobody knows who's going to win Ascent. It's most likely going to boil down to the trades and the timing of your attacks. Now, these trades were lacking by the side of Optimistic Esports in Haven, but on Split, they were able to turn the defensive side into a meat grinder, and the backup was available for all the teammates all the time. That's why True Rivers were just simply not able to contest. If that's the trend that continues in Ascent, then Optimistic Esports are well on their way to putting up another win on the board. If not, True Rippers will most likely steal this away. Because on paper, they have the better aimers, they have what it takes in terms of firepower. Optimistic Esports can only hope to bamboozle them and confuse them.
Yeah, I think that they need to be a little bit careful here, optimistic, because True Rippers love Ascent, and I've seen them pick this map up multiple times before. And I think that this is going to be just as good as we saw the map of Split be. I think this is going to be interesting in terms of how competitive the side of Optimistic can be, unless they again decide to go for some wacky lineup of agents, which we saw on the map of Haven. I hope they don't do that again and try to, take this game as closely as possible against their opponents, because that's what they need right now. Let's move to the agent selection. No more yippee yappy around our theory crafting, ladies and gentlemen. We've got True Rippers on the server. We've got Optimistic on the server. And here we go. YB God instantly locking in that Sova, having played 3 different agents across 3 different maps, is looking to be as useful as possible with that Sova.
That's the
Master.
first time these guys pick up the Sova in the series.
Oh yeah, actually, given that Split is a map where you don't usually play Sova, they still got by somehow, and now Paradox is going in for his jet pick. He's had enough of Omen, it looks like, and he wants to get back to what he knows doing best.
Paradox back to Omen. I'm sorry, Paradox back to Jet, doing what he does best. Crosshair on the initiator role with the Sky. Master obviously picking up the Sova. True Rippers are returning to their old form. Now, One Tap God has picked up the Raze, which is weird. I thought he would go for something along the lines of a Reyna, maybe, or maybe even a KO. But hey, I think the Raze can do really well. And with this, they've now got 3 characters that can help them post plant. Cypher obviously being a very strong deterrent in any situation. You've got shock darts and paint shells available in case of post plant situations. Lineups are also available for them. And those are 2 characters that can deal with the Killjoy lockdown if it ever appears on the screen. But Immutable has picked up the character who mutes the other people. The character who suppresses them, the KO. I've never seen Optimistic Esports play with the KO before, so I hope it works. Although I am really, really happy to see IonQ back in his comfort zone on the Jet.
Yeah, that is true. I think that the KO on Ascent has been made a pretty good pick from multiple teams, not just in our region, which has slowly been picking up, but also internationally. KO has, like I said, he is the perfect counter to literally every single agent out there. So let's figure out how it's going to be ending up for them, the side of OE. Picking up that KO for the first time we're watching it, and for maybe the last time as well. This is their final map in the group stages of the TC Gauntlet. Post this, OE are left upon the fate of other teams and their wins and losses. If or not, they're gonna end up in the playoffs. True Rippers, they win this, they move up by 2 spaces, maybe 3 actually. They might move up to number 4, right below the side of OE. Well, it's all for time to tell.
And you can already see the pressure build up on them. Just a few seconds ago, I saw IonQ pick up what seemed to be a cloth and rub his hands on it, probably to wipe off all the sweat that's been building up in them.
Well, it is a sweaty game.
It indeed has been a sweaty game, but where there is sweat, there is always a threat, and IonQ looks to pick up those dangerous moves and venture a little further into a shot. Immutable right alongside him. They both bag and tag Paradox. More to follow, but this time the nade! It gets them both! Wow, that's one eye for an eye. Will that leave the whole world blind? Maybe the Killjoy will be blind to her endeavors. Still holding on to the B side where the attackers are already moving into a shot. There's only one thing that can go wrong, and that is the Astra. Kawhi has already reached a long, and he can come in at any time he wants. Baby Gods even make it more expensive by killing people on Heaven. Yeah, basically no post-plant positions available for True Rippers. They'll go for the plant, but what will they do after it? They're gonna have to shoot their way to victory.
But what they don't know is that Kawhi is actually still in A main. And while Master's covered up from short thanks to the wall, he spots out one. He's looking for more, but he needs to be careful. Oh, they spot out Kawhi, and now the gig's up. This is a do-or-die situation. 2 versus 3. Players from every single angle firing upon the attackers. But One Tap God has found 4 kills. And that grenade is going to pop a little bit of health. Not too much. No, Kawhi survives it with all of his life intact. And he's going to be securing this round. An ace round could have come in the pistol itself for One Tap God. But a 4K is what he's going to get. And Kawhi will steal away the round.
Whoa, yeah, Kawhi definitely being the MVP of this round. His position towards A-Long is what got his team the advantage they needed. And that's when the players of Optimistic decided to not continue pushing towards B. even though at one point Fox had just blood on his fingers. He just wanted to pick up the skills towards B-Link while all his teammates were fighting from short. Thought maybe a good pinch could help them out, but he held on. He was patient enough, and the information from Kawhi got Optimistic Esports into the favorable positions. But that nade, once again, will cause some damage. IonQ this time is not playing alongside Immutable. In fact, he doesn't even get the dash right. Immutable is able to follow up. At least he's getting the kills, even though Ion can't. But that's a big gun that's been invested. And if that goes down, this is a massive economic investment, which now is being controlled by True Rippers. Not the best weapon to give up, but maybe Kawhi can still hold on. Spotted the spike and the Phantom, so now he knows exactly where they need to hold on. If they can just stop the assault from coming through here, the round will be in the bags. And it does seem to be in the bag already. Paradox is surrounded, and now he's pounded down.
They did get a little bit of damage done to the side of OE. Immutable was taking care of mid, but unfortunately, One Tap God seems to be at his best right now. Tapping away heads like it's nothing. And this is where the game begins for the side of True Rippers. We need to find out how exactly they're going to maneuver this situation of attacks. Given that the one thing that, we've always seen True Rippers do is try and be aggressive, especially One Tap God and Paradox now being back on to the jet. They really love playing that aggressive peak, especially towards mid and A shot, which they are currently doing. As Paradox, he's holding up an angle, but Immutable is having a judge here, and that should be serving to a little bit of extra cause. He's not been spotted out. No sound cues given, but he throws in his knife to give out his position. I don't know why he would do that, but now Paradox should have an idea that Immutable's right around the corner. There comes the flash. He knows for sure there's a person there, and they take the ultimate to clean him out.
Yeah, but hey, I think he did his job well. It required a whole showstopper to get the kill onto him, but they still haven't been able to clear out a shot, and Ion holding down like an absolute turret, shooting down anyone who's brave enough to venture through the smokes. Crosshair finally, he has to deal with the deaths of his teammates in order to get in here. Trades go out, but the numbers advantage still with Optimistic. The best thing that can happen to Crosshair right now is him being given enough time to go ahead and get into the post-plant position he wants. But does he know that both of them are coming in from long? He's expecting one. Probably just Webby.
Oh, he's been spotted, and he takes that one, and he almost gets the other as well.
No way. That's so sad. He got the dink. Could have been the death.
Oh,
but hey.
Phantom.
Yeah, that's just a Phantom curse, man. That's just 140 being 140. Never enough to complete the kill.
This is kind of the reason why sometimes I've almost broken my keyboard, because I'm like, if only I had a Vandal in that situation. If only, because there have been multiple times that we've seen, I can't imagine myself when you're in a situation like this where you're at the very upper echelon of pro play, and even though you've got the aim that works out for the best, you hit the headshot. But it's still not enough, because the Phantom's power at that range is just a little lesser.
Yeah, so sad. And with that, Optimistic Esports win the bonus round. They've denied all the big weapons that True Rippers got into that round and forced them back to the Spectre territory. I'm sorry, the Sheriff territory. Just even worse. Two-pronged approach once again, but this time it doesn't seem to be with an end goal. I mean, they're showing presence towards 3. They even managed to send Mr. Paradox over here all the way into A heaven, but that's not where the spike is. The spike, in fact, is heading towards mid, and that will be stopped soon because of B main pushes coming through from the defenders. This will clear out all the avenues, unless they keep giving away free frags to Redick like this. The final guns come through. Oh my god, there, yeah. Look at that finisher with the robot shooting him down.
Yeah.
Cool stuff for Optimistic. 4 rounds in a row, This is the biggest lead that they've acquired in this entire series so far.
Indeed, it had been a very close matchup on split, and it was just going 1 or 2 rounds as a gap between these two. But in the beginning of a map, this is the first time the side of Optimistic have actually commanded some, sort of respect and domination. And this is clearly helping them out very well, because they themselves are playing aggressive as well. You can see it. They're aggressive towards A shot. They're pushing up B main. They don't really care that their opponents are having an eco or a buy round. They're being controlled aggressive. They know when to push up. They know when not to. And I really like that approach from the side of Optimistic, because that's not just giving them a lot more confidence to play, but they're also outplaying the side of True Rippers in terms of not just strats, but also aim.
3 ultimates available for Optimistic, and that kind of puts them in a good position. Even Master doesn't have his Hunter's Fury available, so Fox can use his lockdown and get away without consequences. And if by any stretch of the imagination True Rippers do farm up enough ultimate points to use them, they can be easily suppressed by Immutable. A firing squad is waiting them on B main. Both the teams are about to meet head on. And with that, the fight will begin. True Rippers already recognize that there's going to be an aggressive push towards B main, so they're trying to go towards market instead. It's just leaving Relic over here. But now that they spotted the operator, do they still continue going towards B market? Do they want to go for this push? I mean, they can back off if they want, but they don't want to. They're not the people who run away from a fight.
Usually being dumped on by the side of Optimistic, and this is exactly what the side of True Rippers want as well. They want to pull out as much as they can, squeeze the juice from the fruit that is Optimistic, and just then slowly cut through and make the best use of their knives. While Immutable's knife is completely rendered useless, Paradox is stuck in this corner now. He wants to make things work better. He does not want to dash away. He wants these fights, and he's going to get him. Now he dashes away. This allows his team to move in towards A, but Fox is still going to survive somehow, at least for a bare bit of time. And there's YB got coming on the flank.
Spike down A.
He's
30 seconds left.
It doesn't matter whether Crosshair has smoked off that angle. He walks in through slyly, and as soon as that smoke dissipates, it's a round for the side of Optimistic yet again. Wow.
I appreciate what True Rippers were trying to do this round. Having Paradox play towards the defender spawn entrance, being a thorn in the side, getting all the kills and making all the noise while his teammates continue to assault a shot. And it would have worked. I mean, with Paradox being towards defender spawn, all the members of Optimistic are going to have to be very careful while rotating back towards the retake spot. But as soon as Paradox was sent back, all his teammates focused on the tree region, and the timing found by this man, it's just so impeccable. Baby God nailed that hammer, nailed that on the head, and just sent them back to the round, back to spawn. And another round starts now. Paradox dashing into his generators. His teammates not able to follow up. He's trapped towards hell, already taking damage, but his teammates get to make the cross. They finally start to do so.
As much as True Rippers would have liked to get one kill, they're going to have to go at this with a 5v5 in place. Paradox. His knives are gone. Immutable's ultimate's going to allow him to kill, but Paradox, he wants to be aggressive, and unfortunately, being all alone gives him no trade potential or his team. But one tap god has actually taken care of one. He thinks another, and he's just on the very mark of his best, but he's still not able to get rounds for his team. Master's been spotted out. Cross has gone to heaven. Looks for the kill. There's no way True Rippers are winning this. Just diffuse, been stuck, and everybody has been killed. 6-0, Cribs.
Did you expect this after seeing the way this game started on Haven?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. 6-0. And that's True Rippers throwing in everything they've got. They've tried everything, right? They've tried A short attacks. They've tried mid plus B crunches. They've tried A main this round. The only thing that they have yet to pull off is like a full-blown B hit without the usage of mid. I don't know how that's going to pan out for them, but we might get to see that soon because they're starting to run out of options. At least they're not run out of money yet. True Rippers still have enough money to purchase weaponry in this round. An AWP on either side, one in the hands of Paradox, the other one in the hands of Ion. But Paradox is the one who's going to have to do a much tougher job now. Getting those angles is just not easy. Especially when Optimistic Esports are not offering any fights. They're not picking anything. They're just holding their defaults, holding their angles.
Immutable is being very aggressive, and they just to run away at the very nick of time when the flash pops out, and now they know it's a B hit. Fox runs away, puts down his swarm grenades for the site to take B control. While I lose my words, it's gonna be Fox losing his life, and the B side has been taken control of. 3 versus 5, and this possibly could be the first round coming in for True Rippers.
Yeah, I like those nanoswarms. They will help him deal with anyone who tries to drop from lane 1, but then they drop him immediately. Paradox has been shut down. That's the AWP taken out. Cypher utility not going to be a factor anymore, so they don't need to worry about the aggressive drop fires. But now Relic's dead, and that is even more problematic. Crosshair's position revealed because of that paranoia, buying them very little time. At least he's able to move away with the teleports, so now they just have to hold the crossfires. And while all the 3 members are locked inside, there's not much that Optimistic can do to dig them out. They have to concede this round. Finally, it's True Rippers putting up a point on the board, but at what cost? They've lost nearly all their members, and Master might die to the spike. Yeah, a very expensive round indeed, but hey, at this point, winning the rounds is more important than conserving money.
Well, that is true. They need rounds right now, and they need to try and secure this half at least to an 8-4, if not anything worse, because for the moment, OE look unstoppable. And even though they've given out 1 round, even in that, True Rippers have taken heavy damage in terms of economy. And look at that, 3 players still on half armor, even though they've got Vandals and Phantoms to play with. This is not a good situation for them to be in. Immutable, waiting for that grenade to come, hoping to one-tap somebody, but Ion is going to be doing that instead. Master will take out 2 as Immutable gets a little too confident for his own good. Now it's all up to Kawhi to stop the A main push. He goes in, he somehow survives, comes out of the smoke. Will he get a kill? No, he won. One tap god shuts Kawhi down, but YB takes out Master instead. A 3 versus 2, still doable, still winnable for the defense here. As True Rippers get the plant onto way, and here comes the post plant.
Baby God should be able to spot out at least 1 player towards Generator and 1 towards Long. Now they just need to find this Cypher, that's Relic. He's hiding towards Short, hasn't revealed any of his cards yet. But this crossfire, is it going to be enough? They know that there's 1 player in heaven, so they both have to jump. But will they jump at the right time? 1 on Generator, the crossfire is still potent. 1 tap God holding on towards Hell, and Fox is not able to kill him. Fights against Crosshair instead. And there's just too many targets on the screen. True Rippers finally getting yet another round on board. That's 2 in a row. If they start chaining together rounds like these, then they will be able to gain some economic momentum back. And if they win 1 more round, then that's Optimistic Esports running out of their money. They can start the comeback at that point.
Most certainly. And this timeout has been called out by the side of Optimistic just to make sure that True Rippers do not really snowball out of hand. Because these 2 rounds were pretty convincing by them, even though they've lost a couple of players. They're looking like they're slowly working things up here. And also to consider what the economical damage could be for the side of Optimistic. The coach of Optimistic Esports.
Is that a graphical calculator in his background lying on the bench?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Man's an engineer.
Or maybe. Well, he is clearly calculative about his approach, and I hope that Optimistic are the same.
Yeah, see, that's the cloth that Ianki was using, wiping off the sweat from his hands. Palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. I don't like spaghetti.
Why? Spaghetti's pretty good.
Penne is the best form of pasta. Fight me.
Yeah, I'll let you have it. You know, for me, it's potato. I will eat any form of pasta. In the end, it just becomes crumbles in your mouth, so...
Okay, then you might as well just chew on raw Maggie and snort the masala, have boiling water. It's gonna
No,
mix up
that's
in your
different.
stomach, right?
That is different. Okay, you know what? Situation
Oh
for
no,
another time.
Maybe he's about to get caught.
Yep.
And they don't account for it. The alarm bot went off on mid, but they still didn't account for mid being assaulted this quickly. The pace of True Rippers just too quick for Optimistic Esports to handle. They're finally able to get into a side without taking any losses, and this is the 4v5. One of the first rounds in which True Rippers actually have a man advantage, except for the previous one. Another one comes through as Immutable gets revealed. His gun barrel giving away his position.
Oh, Fox, he walks into crosshairs of Paradox, and he's turning out to be a menace in this round. Paradox, he wants the ace. He's hungry for it. He's looking for it. And now Ion's gonna run away. He knows he needs to save this operator no matter what the cost. but he's being chased, hunted, and possibly killed as well. That's the way, not gonna connect that shot. And Paradox wants this so bad. You can see it, how bad he wants this. It doesn't matter what he jumps up to. Paradox gets his ace.
Finally. And then he goes ahead and tells this man, Kitna bhagega? Well, that's just Paradox hunting down everybody like an absolute god. And they needed this so desperately. They needed this with 3 rounds going in the favor of True Rippers in a row. These guys have finally broken Optimistic Esports' economy and forced them to Sheriff territory. Now, with True Rippers having the upper hand, they can start to put the rounds together, hopefully bring this half to a 6-6. And even if they're not able to, even a 7-5 is acceptable at this point. Ah, what a push. They just completely ignore everything on mid. The alarm bot detects them, no problem. They continue watching through and somehow they find that Sova in the middle of a drone pose. Once again, they start to go towards a shot. This time, the alarm bot will detect them yet again. But what do they do about it? Fox is already pushing up A long, and we've seen Kawhi in this position do wonders. But can Fox be impactful? Yes, he can. Crosshair has been dealt with. And now, even though the attackers have control of a site, there's not much that they can do. They're losing players everywhere. Relic taken care of, so that's the lurker dead. But hey, at least they have liberated A long now, so they don't need to worry about backstabs. Or maybe I said that a bit too soon. Immutable and Ion both going in from long instead of the short area.
And Ion has still 4 plays remaining. One tap card could be a little too close. Never mind. He gets the perfect angle against him. Ion expecting them to be far off, not close by. And now Immutable seen 1. TC's 2, but the second one's going to be taking his head straight off of his body. And YB God, well, if he knows what's best for him, he might as well just run away and save this weapon, because that's the best thing that he can do right now with the money that he has left in the bank.
Yeah, money's starting to run out for Optimistic Esports. There was a time when they were feeling invincible. You know, 6 rounds in a row. And out of those 4 rounds were rounds where they didn't even lose a lot of players. So they had quite a lot of money up until now, but had being the keyword. Now they're running on fumes. They're able to afford one last buy. And if this doesn't work, then in the next round, they will have to concede to maybe Spectres or Light Armor. They'll be surviving off of max loss bonus at that point.
That's exactly correct. And now, because of that, we've got True Rippers built up a momentum that I don't think OE are expecting to counter anytime soon. Look at how forced they are towards the backline. Now that the side
Okay. Wow, Aya not budging at all. He was probably hoping that his fellow teammate Sova will break that boombot for him so that he doesn't have to reveal his opposition. But he can tank 100 damage and get away with it.
Well, slowly but surely, they're getting dismantled and... Okay, Paradox, sure. Sure, buddy. That's how it works. And that's also how it works.
Finally, it takes Immutable to shut down his killing spree. But can Immutable do anything else on top of it? He's already let some of the attackers into the side and his teammates are also falling like flies. So the retake becomes even more and more difficult. Yeah, there you go. It's finally one tap card from the backlines to shut him. Woo! True Rippers, my god. I mean, this match has been a roller coaster, right? From Haven being an absolutely one-sided affair to Split being contested, being somewhat competitive. I thought that Optimistic Esports will shut this game down in a very quick fashion with the 6-0 lead they had, but now the scores are almost tied up. And Optimistic don't have enough money, which means True Rippers can most likely win the next round as well. Put it at 6-6.
Well, we're gonna have to figure out how exactly this works out. Optimistic, that's exactly what they should be thinking. 6-0 they were up, and to let it come back to 6-5 is a real unfortunate situation. Yeah, tragedy, you could call it. And Fox is clearly worried about the situation, giving a lot of instructions to his team as they are being pushed back round after round. You could see it. The minute True Rippers stepped up and put their foot on the gas pedal and they sped up their vehicle, there was nothing the side of Optimistic could do. They just had no counter. And even now, they're being pushed back. They're not really being aggressive. And they are okay with it somehow. They had the upper hand in terms of aggression, and now they're just, being forced to play off the sides. And Two Rippers will take that any day of the week
I mean,
and
that's
make
not
sure.
completely true now, is it? We've seen time and again Fox moving up A long, and he's able to get towards the bottom of A long and even towards the top of high mid sometimes. And for that matter, even IonQ has been playing aggressively towards B main with his operator, even ignoring Boombots in the process. So there is some level of aggression from Optimistic Esports, but I think True Rippers have found a way to deal with that instead.
Well, you might just be right. Mutable, waiting for that camera to pop up. And then take it out immediately and maybe find himself a little bit of a pressure to put on. But the B main is being immediately taken care of. Multiple people being detected. Paradox a little too aggressive for his own good. But Ion's been spotted. Ion's probably gonna get killed. Tries to go for another weapon. Grenades, shock darts, recons, everything. This time the Boomba's gonna be confirming that kill. Why be good? Jumping to his death as Immutable still alive somehow. Fox will take care of Master from the market region, and now it's a 3 versus 2.
Here.
Final round of the half, but both the players of the side of True Rippers are very low on health. And with that ultimate coming from the Killjoy,
Enemy
I
remaining.
don't think it's going to be possible for them to win the sun. That's it, it's done, it's
Yeah.
dusted.
Yeah, they didn't really have a choice. It's either go back towards the boathouse or move forward and fight and die. They chose to go down like warriors.
7 and 5, and that's a little bit of a disappointment given that what they could have achieved in this half, Clips, because being 6 and 0 up, you would have expected them to at least get maybe a 9 to 3, 10 and 2, maybe even more, but 7 and 5 could have done a little bit better there. Optimistic Esports. Now they're gonna have to make do with what they've got. A small 2-round lead, and now with them being on the attack, they gotta be careful. They have a single duelist set up, so that's not really a lot of people who can go behind Ion to get his trades. Somebody who can dash in, like Paradox had one tap got to do with him. Let's see how finds out. Because Ion is not really having the best of games right now.
He's really not. 7 frags from him. But hey, at least he's not having the worst game. Relic and Crosshair are at 3 frags each, and that's even worse. It's one tap god and his heroics were getting the rounds for True Rippers, and even Paradox positioning sometimes. Other than that, Relic and Crosshair have not been able to put up a performance like they did in the previous game. They were popping off in the previous game, not gonna lie. This time, not so much. Optimistic starting to creep up towards the B site, and the Cypher setup is present over here, so it should be Relic's chance to finally start stepping up. Even Master is present, but the shock dart breaks one of his trap fires. That's making things a little bit easier. People getting tagged through the recon dart, and that allows Master and Paradox to continue pre-firing. Oh my god, the meat grinder has returned, but this time it's in the hands of True Rippers.
A graveyard across the archway of B main. They didn't even get a chance to enter in towards the lane or the site or even go near the board to close out the market door. It was just 2 players on 2 different ends of the spectrum of that B site, completely obliterating their opponents. 7 and 6, a brilliant pistol win from the side of True Rippers is not going to get them probably a consecutive round. No forces this time from Optimistic. They're not really going for it. They know that it's going to be a little too difficult, and here's Paradox just tapping away heads like it's Gully
nobody's
cricket.
business.
Yeah,
Like
gully
it's
cricket.
Gully. Oh,
Gully cricket, like, tapping a ball for 6 in with the one hand, you know how that feels? When you're
Yeah,
holding a
and-
bat with one hand and you just hit it for a 6.
Yeah. And when Ion dashes into Paradox's crosser like that, it's like getting a full toss and you just knocking it out of the park. Oh my god, Paradox going even further. He's getting shot by the turret, but he doesn't care. He takes down the spike carrier.
Remaining.
Oh, that's the level of aggression I expected from True Rippers. But hey, it was met with patience at first and then by relentless pursuit of excellence.
Oh, Paradox gets even a weapon to pick up, and that is a great round secured from True Rippers. Although not a flawless, it was just as much of a flawless round in terms of their gameplay. OE have got their first buy round coming in here, but this is where things get a little bit more interesting as well. Are True Rippers going to be aggressive? Are they going to be going ahead? Paradox now with a Marshal in his hands, hoping to pick up an operator in the next one. He moves down towards mid yet again. He's got support in the form of Master. KO knives, shock darts, everything raining down as Paradox is being tagged and being pushed back, but he doesn't still care. He wants to go out for that fight. He almost hits the KO, but he will not be connecting that shot. Ion gets tagged by the tripwire, and it's all onto Master. Does get deleted by Immutable. Now it's Relic's turn to try and defend this side.
Oh my god, no. Immutable getting completely flushed out by the Raze utility. The movement of the satchel not good enough to get him another one, but at least Crosshair follows up. 2v3. The attacker's still trapped in the site, but the spike hasn't been planted. Relic doing his best to buy some space, hopefully buy enough time for Crosshair also to help him and come, but no, he gets isolated. Kawhi now finally shutting him down. They can go for the plant. Crosshair with the fake TPs. Nah, but the alarm bot gives away the element of surprise. He knows for the fact it's going to be one person inside the site, but where is the other? Spots out Kawhi. Needs to find Fox, but Fox finds him first. And he steps up yet again. Optimistic Esports holding on. This time, the mid plus B crunch worked like an absolute charm.
Indeed, it got a little too confusing on that mid region after you know, the two trades came in, and it kind of almost looked like OE could have lost a couple more players, but they still held on, and they kind of lost a little bit, and because of that they have YB God right now playing on that Spectre, but it's still okay. And True Rippers are not too far away either. They've got an operator stored on the hands of Paradox, and he is gonna be causing menace. Anybody who peeks mid, they know. Oh no, wait, what?
Imagine he actually lands that.
If he did, I would really be concerned right now.
At least you don't have to be concerned. It's optimistic Esports. If they win this round, they are back to continuing the momentum. If not, well, then True Rippers not only equalize the score, but kind of break that economy. Orbs being secured, but no ultimates available for either side yet. At least they find out where the AWPer is, so now they can steer clear of Paradox. But the moment I say that, they start moving further towards the ace side. I mean, Optimistic have never been ones to shy away from a fight, and an AWP doesn't really seem to deter them.
Well, they are going towards the A side, it looks like, while one person is holding down towards B.
Yeah, probably trying to sell a fake.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be sold because Paradox and One Tap God both are here, and they've got support in terms of a smoker as well. Crosshair. Here's Paradox and One Tap God trying to hold down One Tap God. He damages quite a few, even gets another before he goes down himself. And now in this 2v3, Crosshair is aware of the fact that somebody could push through that smoke, and Kawhi almost loses his life. He tries to bait in for Fox to come in, but not going to be the case. Here comes the blind. Crosshair's just waiting for it, and there it is. There's nothing he can do. Blinded, tagged, and killed.
And then destroyed by robots for overkill. Amazing stuff by True Rippers. This time their patience pays them so well. They don't need to go for any aggressive peeks. There's just one peek from A long towards the start of the round, after which they continue holding on. Nobody fell for the fake. Fox was even able to capture an ultimate orb towards the B main region, but it was just simply not enough. And by the time his teammates could move into the A site, the backup had arrived. True Rippers peering down that A long corridor with 3 people. 3 guns pointed in the general direction, and of course, One Tap God hitting every shot possible, doing all the damage in the world. It's True Rippers to equalize the score and send economic momentum back in their favor. Optimistic Esports being degraded down to just Spectres. 1 Hero Vandal available immutable, but can this Hero Vandal find all that it needs? He's going to activate the null command and run in with that Hero Vandal. Indeed, he's going to have to be a massive force, but the force is being reckoned with. Master on the verge of an ace. It's Crosshair who gets the final kill, but this man is a master indeed. Master of the spray, master of the hold, and there's just nothing they can do to make him lose control.
Ooh. Well, this is a really unfortunate situation for OE to be in. They just got shut down by one member there, and they're yet again on an eco. Another hero vandal round, it seems to be, as Immutable picks it up. No armor even on him.
Yeah, that's very weird, right?
Yeah, you usually would at least want a half armor to accompany that.
Yeah. I mean, if not half armor, what they can at least do is help Ian get a blade storm. Yeah, with that orb that he just captured, he's able to get his blades. They found the camera. Well, finally. That camera has been undestroyed since like last 2 or 3 rounds. But they kind of spread out all over the place. All the attackers. I mean, one went down towards short, that's Fox, no trades. His teammates toward mid, other one towards high mid, the other one's towards B-Link. There's too much happening, and maybe Kawhi is able to capitalize on that too much. They didn't really seem to have a plan at the start of the round, but it's all coming together now.
Well, you might just be onto something. Unfortunately, Relic seems to be letting go of that operator. He says it's okay. We need to win this round. It doesn't matter if they have a weapon because we can still retrieve it by killing them. And Crosshair's doing exactly that. And now it's all into Kawhi. He's got players around him. And at this point, One Time God's just playing around with his food. He's waiting for his teammates to join in. While Kawhi,
Seconds left.
well, my friend, there's nothing he can do except for die.
Yeah,
Not known to be the operator player, but he tried his best.
Yeah, I mean, the moment he jumped down from that catwalk and he peeked, he saw 3 people on his screen, and you could see that moment of jiggle on his screen, which indicates the panic. True Rippers finally finding what they need. They found their groove. They better not lose it. One Tap God's having a game of his life. And the optimistic esports coach, Ludra Daddy, has been looking for ways to break this armor. I mean, they had been fairly successful in using that mid plus B crunch. Maybe they can go for something similar again. But in the last few rounds, optimistic esports have just simply had no money. I mean, we saw a hero vandal 2 rounds in a row. None of that worked out. And when they keep on doing, unorthodox buys like these, the economic advantage continues to swing further and further in the hands of True Rippers. It might even snowball and get out of control at a point.
Well, this timeout is clearly going to give them a little bit of insight as to how the side of True Rippers are going to be working in the next couple of rounds. At least I hope so, because they really need to sound optimistic. They've got economy to buy in for this, but the minute they lose this, they're going to have a huge drought. And that drought is going to mean True Rippers heading on towards match point. 8 and 10 for the moment. 1 ultimate to work with, which can immediately be countered by 2 on the other side. Fox, he needs to find the best opportunity to try and get his ultimate down towards the B side as Immutable just shuts off Master, but Paradox comes in for a kill. Fox is gone, but what they need to worry about right now, OE, is Relic on side. He is a one-man army waiting to take down as many as he can. Makes that only 1 though, and here goes One Tap God with the showstopper. And there's nothing more that OE can do. This game looks like it's almost done and dusted. One fair bit buy that can come out of OE in this round, Cribs, but how much further can they go?
Well, if One Tap God's hitting all his shots and hitting his ultimates like this, not much further, I think. Somebody show the scoreboard. 24 frags for this man. The only man above 20 frags, and nobody else is close to him. Paradox and Master also stepping up for the team. They hadn't been having the best of games. Even Crosshair was sitting at 3 frags at a point, but now he's at 13. Trippers are finding their groove. They're finding all they need, and Paradox can maybe find this frag. If not, at least he gives away where the op is. Maybe Optimistic Esports can use that information. But in attempts of doing so, they lose control towards A-Long. They continue to challenge Paradox. First shot, dead. And there's no follow-up, no backup available either. That's the op conceded to the attackers.
Yeah, but how much can they do with it, Crips, is the question. Because all of their teammates are dying on the other side. And again, Kawhi with the operator, not going to be proving as useful as he would want to be. Even though he is the top fragger on the team, he's better with a Vandal or a Phantom than he is with an operator. And that's exactly why he's holding down the Sheriff still, and Relic will take him out with just that. Fox might have a free kill. No, says one tap God. And it looks like it might just be game over here.
Match point.
True Rippers are really pushing the envelope, aren't they? Picking up fights towards high mid, towards the back of B main. It's almost like they're pushing Optimistic Esports back towards spawn. They're pushing the front lines even further and further, taking away map control and hope from Optimistic. One last push is all they need, and that's all that they have enough fuel for. They're running on fumes right now, and Optimistic Esports muster up every penny they have. They throw in all the nickels together, hope that it's enough for a pound, and maybe even a gun. But the bigger gun belongs to Paradox. Doesn't budge even after being revealed. Could have been shot through the smoke, but he doesn't move. Trapfire is discovered, so that opens a bit. In doing so, they summon one tap God. Will he be successful over here? Dodges the recon and doesn't get shot through the clusters. But still, Optimistic Esports have at least managed to find 2 players of True Rippers. They have information, but can they get the kills? No, they cannot. One tap God repositions back to its tree just in time to greet the attackers as they try to move inside. Generators already taken control of, but Crosshair can shut down all the backup coming in. And there goes where we got. Spike on the ground. Don't tell me he knows Kawhi. He doesn't. Still shoots him in the back of his head, and that's True Rippers winning the game. What a streak they pulled together in the end. Winning so many rounds in a row.
Oh boy, a much needed one as well. True Rippers have done a great job of winning this game towards the very end. It almost looked like it went away from them, but Optimistic Esports, well, that's the end of their journey in the TEC Gauntlet's group stages. Now, what it turns out to be for them, let's find out once the group stages come out a little bit later, but we do have the match highlights, which in the first half was looking like an optimistic map, turned around immediately at the halfway point when the 6-0 scoreline came up, came down and went in to the 7-5 scoreline, which eventually kind of gave them a little room to play with, but immediately cut off. Let's go to the match highlights, ladies and gentlemen, because this has True Rippers written all over it from that 6-0 mark till the finish.
Yeah, but Optimistic had their brilliant moments. They were so methodical, so disciplined, had absolutely no problems dealing with the weird stuff that True Rippers were doing, and they tried everything, right? True Rippers had thrown in everything that their strat book consisted of until they were able to find the first round. But when they did, they just didn't let go of that momentum. They destroyed Optimistic's economy, kept them on an eco for like 3-4 rounds at a stretch, and the weird hero vandal buys did not work out for Optimistic, which continued to go in the favor of True Rippers as they snowballed.
Yeah, that is true. Optimistic had a really good read of the game from the beginning, but they just could not replicate that success in the second half. With just one run to their name from the second half, Optimistic have given up the last game of their season in the TEC Gauntlet Season 4 as a loss. But, well, not a loss overall. They still have 1 point that they have grabbed from this matchup in this best of 3, thanks to picking up their home map of Split. Let's see how that fares out in the days to come for them, because now they're left at the mercy of other teams and their results.
So they'll have what, 8 points now, right?
Yep.
They had 7 before. They will most likely have 8 now. True Rippers, on the other hand, are climbing up even more. They are at 6 most likely, but we'll take a look at that in detail when the group standings show up. For now, can we just appreciate the amount of effort it goes into holding a site like this? Relic is an absolute madman, and even though he got only 1 kill, he bought enough time for one tap God to move in and use that showstopper to finish things off. And there were just so many disruptive moments. I mean, sure, you will be able to get into the site. That's what True Ripper said to Optimistic Esports, but don't even think about planting.
What a great finish to this map, especially from Paradox. Picture perfect aim, picture perfect execution, defensive holds of the highest order, and of course, a victory to top it all off. A great job by True Rippers, and they move further on, and they have a couple more matches left to try and secure their playoff spot yet again.
Well, let's see if they can get that playoff spot or not. We'll take a look at the points that these teams have and how much in danger are they, or how close to playoffs are they. we'll have to take a look when the group standings show up. I mean, we have a fair idea about what's going to happen. We know for a fact that Optimistic will be at 8 points. True Rippers will most likely be at 6 points. But who is ahead of them? Who's behind them? Who's in between and who's in danger? Let's find out when we go into the group standings.
And as you say it, here we are. We've got True Rippers jumping up from number 7 to 4, and that's exactly what they
Whoa.
wanted. And that is a good jump, given that they have a lot more wins than their competitors below them. FS with just 1, Valor with 2, True Rippers with 3 wins move up the table, and they've got 2 more matches. Do not forget that. That's going to be really, really interesting, because even though the teams below them have matches left, it's probably against True Rippers that they're going to have, at least 2 of those teams have. And if True Rippers are going to be winning those 2 matches left, they're going straight up to 10 points.
Exactly.
And that's clear qualification right there. And Optimistic Esports right now are left at the mercy of whether or not True Rippers are able to do it, whether or not Valor are able to do it, because even Valor can overtake them.
Yeah, Valor has 2 games left.
Yep.
Every other team like T69, Only Friends, and FS Esports have just 1 game left each. Chances are running out. We are coming towards the end of the group standings, and we are coming towards the end of the group stage overall. Very soon the playoffs will begin. There's only a couple weeks left, and this is the final stretch, the home stretch. The teams need to put the pedal to the metal and send it in, do everything they can to qualify. Otherwise, all their effort in the season up until now would have gone down the drain.
Yep. But that is it for today, ladies and gentlemen. We had only 1 match for you, but hey, we're going to be coming back with more tomorrow as the TC Gauntlet Season 4 reaches its climax real soon. The playoffs will begin, like Crip said, in just a couple of more days. We can't wait for it, and we know you can't either. So do stick around, but before you do, go on ahead and come tomorrow. Check out the descriptions down below for all of the details of the offers that our sponsors are giving out to you by Crucial, by 656, which gives out the beautiful jerseys that they make, especially the TC Gauntlet ones with your name and number printed at the back. And not to forget Intel, who deliver the best gaming value and the overall best gaming experience. And of course, use the hashtag GameWithIntel to find out what more you can do with your process. We will be done for today, but we will be coming back tomorrow to give you so much more. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, at the TC Gauntlet, the action never stops. Thank you for joining us. We will see you all tomorrow. Good evening and happy gaming.